28%. Chapter 141. Claim sky-high compensation. In the studio, there were also some little devils who expressed dissatisfaction. Baga, damn Yanlong people, if it weren't for our Yamato not having a full battle group guard this time, do you think you Qin Tian would have a chance? That's right, Baga Road, your Qin Tian is a devil. Our General Chuan Dao has surrendered. He can still come up with such an inhuman thing as encirclement and reinforcements. Doesn't he know that doing so will make us the Cherry Blossom Empire has lost hundreds of gods? Without the protection of these gods, maybe the people of our 10 cities and dozens of cities will die at the hands of aliens. These Yanlong people are cold-blooded guys. They have been imposing the crimes committed by our ancestors on us, and we have done nothing. See these remarks. Countless Yanlong people were all laughed out of anger. Sakura little devils, how do you have the face to say this? Holy shit, you God-chosen followed those lighthouse ghosts back then and it was 053. Why didn't you jump out and say this when you frantically attacked and killed us Yanlong God-chosen? At that time, you didn't. Do you feel that the chosen ones in your own country are ruthless? Now that we are fighting back, you will jump out and talk about humanitarianism. I remember you little devils once said a word at that time, the strong have the right to dominate everything, and the weak need to be sympathized with. Now I will give you this sentence intact hollow square. Ha ha ha, you still tell me that your Yamato will fail if it is not full, you little devils, are you stupid? Why do you think that I, God Qin, brought the god of Cold War to Yuang Island all the way? To understand is to guess that your Yamato will be ordered, this is a tactic, do you understand? The chat channel is full of noise. And World of Warships. Kawashima Yusuke was so overwhelmed by Qin Tian's words that he almost lost his breath. His temples throbbed like drums. Yao Lang, continue to attack. If the opponent's battleship dares to make a move, immediately turn its guns and let me bombard him. In the control room, after Qin Tian left these words, he went directly to the cabin below the deck. Start replenishing ammunition to each ammunition bay. When Qin Tian replenished the ammunition and returned to the deck, after looking around, I found that there were no supplies on the deck. His brows frowned immediately. Then he narrowed his eyes slightly. There was a plan in my mind in an instant. Go to the control room. He sent a message to Leng Lai. Brother Leng, how many destroyers have you destroyed? Leng Lai quickly texted him back. 3 ships, what happened? Have you seen any material piles on your deck? How can there be supplies? These devils are very smart. When they came out, the battleship didn't carry any supplies at all. Leng Lai replied this sentence almost instantly. Look at this sentence. Qin Tian also returned to the control room. Yao Lang, how many destroyers have we sunk? Captain, it's already suffering. Yao Lang replied immediately. 5 ships, but there was no supplies on the deck. A cold smile appeared on Qin Tian's face. Yao Lang, aim the muzzle at the Yamato and fire 2 shots. Yes, Captain. Without saying a word, Yao Lang steered the Genesis-class dual 57mm naval guns to turn. Then it fired 2 shots at the Yamato. Ba Ga, Qin Tian, what are you doing? Are you trying to prevent the Yanlong Empire's chosen ones from even having a chance to surrender? Hear this. Qin Tian sneered in his heart. It's as if we God's chosen surrendered and you let them go. But Qin Tian didn't say that. Instead, Yao Lang also turned on the loudspeaker. He raised his voice and shouted, Yusuke Kawashima, you little devils dare to play me. Nonsense, you want to fight for help, we also let you fight, how did you play with you? Yusuke Kawashima said, holding back his anger. It's a fight, but what about the supplies? I'll be lonely if there is no compensation for the supplies. Qin Tian said coldly. Gone. Yusuke Kawashima vomited blood angrily. Too much deception. It's really deceiving. The soldiers on the Yamato also clenched their fists one by one. I can't wait to jump into the sea and swim to fight Qin Tian. To put it bluntly, you just want compensation. Tell me, how much do you want? Yusuke Kawashima gritted his teeth and swallowed. Qin Tian smiled, and said in a straight voice, not much, 2 million wood, 2 million flax, 2 million plastic, metal pieces and rags are more expensive, I will not make things difficult for you, metal pieces and rags 1.5 million units each will do. Baga, Qin Tian, you are dreaming. Even if you beat me to death, it is impossible for us to give you these supplies. Hear the numbers. Kawashima Yusuke immediately roared crazily. This is really a mouthful. Millions of supplies. When World of Warships was opened by their Sakura Empire. There are so many resources. Put together more, maybe they will be able to cultivate another battleship. And heard Kawashima Yusuke's words. Qin Tian doesn't say anything. He patted Yao Lang on the shoulder and said only one word. Hit. Hearing Qin Tian's words, there was also an excited smile on Yao Lang's face. FK. So handsome. His own captain is too domineering. Don't speculate if you don't talk too much, just do it if you don't accept it. Their own captains have such personalities. Naturally, he, the crew, couldn't hold back. Set the target to the battleship Yamato. With the fire control system turned on, the gun barrel on the battleship began to turn instantly. Before Kawashima Yusuke could react, several main cannons bombarded one after another, etc. See this situation. Yusuke Kawashima was stunned. What he just said was just angry. Shouldn't negotiations be about wrangling each other and bargaining? How did this come about all of a sudden? But Qin Tian didn't give him a chance to explain at all this time. The Genesis-class dual 57mm naval guns and several other naval guns that were not on the table fired continuously. Soon the blood of the Yamato was hit below 4,000. Stop quickly, Baga, Qin Tian, the quantity you want is too much, let's talk again. Seeing that Yamato's HP has dropped below 3,000, Kawashima Yusuke was completely panicked. Only now did he feel it deeply. In front of him was the Yanlong God-chosen one who was young but extremely powerful. Chances are you don't want to negotiate with him at all. Instead, he had the idea of sinking his Yamato from the beginning. His angry 0.8 complaint just now seemed to have given the other party an excellent reason. On board the Dragon, looking at this scene coldly, he couldn't help swallowing hard. Nearly 10 million supplies, leaving Sakura country to provide upgrade subsidies to soldiers and criminals. This amount of supplies is estimated to be worth the Little Devil's inventory for nearly a year. He could completely understand why Yusuke Kawashima didn't want to agree to this amount of compensation. These hundreds of millions of materials were compensated to Qin Tian. Isn't that asking Qin Tian to upgrade destroyers to cruisers every minute? The current Qin Tian is already so powerful. If he upgrades to a cruiser again, his Yamato might not even have room to struggle the next time he encounters Qin Tian. Unless he goes everywhere with a full battle group. And the coldness at this moment is also very tangled. What he didn't know was whether he should persuade Qin Tian to accept those supplies, or whether he should go all out and take down the Little Devil's only battleship directly. 28%. Chapter 142 The End of the Yamato. Don't say it's him. Even the countless Yanlong people in the live broadcast room were struggling. The number reported by Qin Tian is really too tempting. And listen to Yusuke Kawashima's tone. Just not so much. Even if it is a few 100,000 units less, it is estimated that the other party will agree. HMPH, you damned Yanlong people are so greedy. When General Chuan Dao gets through this catastrophe, we will definitely return Qin Tian 100-fold in the future. Nearly 10 million supplies, thanks to what he said, but now the preservation of the Yamato is more important than anything else. Ga, 2 million wood, 2 million plastic, 2 million flax, 1.5 million metal sheets, and 1.5 million rags. I'm so tempted by the total price of 9 million. 1. Yeah, although I really want Qin Shen to sink the Devil's Yamato, but so many materials are enough to support Qin Shen to upgrade the battleship into a large cruiser. It should be easier to beat this little devil by then, right? Not necessarily. This time Qin Shen sees the opportunity of the other party to place orders. After going through such a time, you think this little devil will be so careless. Next time he goes out, he will definitely bring a full-fledged battle wherever he goes. Hyun, in that case, even Qin Shen may not be able to upgrade the battleship to a battle cruiser. 11. Captain, what should we do? Shall we still fight? In the control room, Yao Lang heard the enemy's tone seemed to be softening. For a moment, he looked at Qin Tian subconsciously. Nearly 10 million supplies. It is estimated that it is enough to upgrade their destroyer to a cruiser. But just when everyone thought that Qin Tian would choose supplies instead of sinking the Yamato in all likelihood, Qin Tian's order was far beyond everyone's expectations. Don't worry about these, just sink it. Qin Tian looked at the giant steel beast with a length of more than 260 meters in the distance. There was a cold, faint opening in his eyes. Yes. Qin Tian's order was to sink them directly. He can take some time to gather supplies and so on. Anyway, with his current ability, a few million supplies is not too big an astronomical figure. But there is only one chance to kill the Yamato. The third year of the previous life. After 4 or 5 years of operation, the Little Devils can be said to have built their Yamato into a super invincible battleship. 3 main guns of orange legendary quality and 4 secondary guns of the same high quality. Coupled with the strengthening of various strengthening drawings. Let this Yamato become a top battleship that even the Lighthouse Empire has to take seriously when it sees it. With the blessing of Kawashima Yusuke's multiple protection talent skills, it is often possible to fight 4 battleships without falling into a disadvantage. There is no fear even when facing an aircraft carrier. So in order not to leave hidden dangers for yourself, Qin Tian chose to kill the opponent without the slightest hesitation. Understood, Captain, leave it to me. He heard the determination in Qin Tian's words. Yao Lang continued to operate the fire control system to carry out high-frequency strikes on the Yamato. In the studio, hear Qin Tian's order. All the devils in the Sakura Empire were dumbfounded. Ba ga, Qin Tian, how dare you? Why? Is it because General Kawashima doesn't agree with his price, so he doesn't give him any leeway? No, our Yamato, stop it. Stop it. And countless people from the Yanlong Empire and foreign devils from other countries looked at Qin Tian's straightforward and firm attitude. It was also shocking for a while. Many foreign devils even thought about it in their hearts. Wait for the gods to enter the world of warships. They had to tell their chosen ones. Once surrendered to Qin Tian. Whatever conditions the other party proposes at that time, they will agree to the conditions. Otherwise, if you hesitate, you may never have the chance to raise conditions next time. Stop it, Qin Tian. I agree to your request. I will trade your supplies for every penny. Boom, boom, boom. However, before Kawashima Yusuke finished speaking, the Yamato with less than 10% HP was hit with a martyrdom effect. Group after group of huge flames continued to erupt from the huge steel behemoth. Several explosions even knocked out the 3 huge main guns. Many little devil soldiers above didn't even have a chance to struggle. It was directly blown to pieces by the Big Bang. There is no defense function attached to the battleship. The chosen one and the crew immediately lost the buff ability to ignore damage. In the studio, after all the Sakura devils witnessed the martyrdom of the Yamato. They all slumped on the ground helplessly. His face was full of despair and pain. How dare he? Is he a devil? It's over. It's all over. The only battleship of their empire was sunk just like that. This is tantamount to tearing off the protective shield of their country. I don't know how many citizens will be exposed to the horror of alien creatures. It's just that these have nothing to do with Qin Tian. With the death of the Yamato, it sank slowly. On the deck of the Qin Tian destroyer, there was a lot of supplies all of a sudden. Looking at the scale, there must be tens of thousands of units of supplies. The corner of Qin Tian's mouth raised slightly and said, "Hey, I didn't expect this last slap to be generous." Finished speaking coldly, Qin Tian sent a message to Leng Lai. Brother Leng, let's go and destroy the remaining 20 or so destroyers, and then we can retreat. Okay, no problem. Naturally, there is no objection to this coldness. Following Qin Tian's warships, they sailed to meet the destroyers of the Sakura Devils. The ending was of course no surprise. After more than 10 minutes, the 2 destroyers that the Sakura Devils sent to support this time were sunk by the 2 of them. If it weren't for the Devil's frigate army behind them, after closing the distance, they fired dozens of anti-ship missiles. Qin Tian and Leng Lai could definitely kill all the 30 or so destroyers. 057 witnessed the attack of dense anti-ship missiles. The close-in defense guns on the 2 battleships began to show off. More than 40 anti-ship missiles were fired in succession. Then he was hit 7 or 8 times, and lost thousands of blood points. The warships of the 2 successfully left the attack range of those frigates. Haha, happy, Shaoshan, your brat's unconstrained fighting ideas are really amazing. The loss of the unplanned ghosts this time will probably kill their people. I didn't care about the envious and thick-necked little devil frigates behind. Leng Lai followed Qin Tian and sailed directly out of this sea area, and then sent a message. This kind of naval battle is really cool. One of their battle cruisers and 1 destroyer actually sank the battleship Yamato of the Sakura Devils. This is simply like the Arabian Nights. This time we have dealt with the Little Devil's battleship. When our strength grows stronger, we will be able to send troops to take Yuang Island back again. Not waiting for Qin Tian to reply the message, Leng Lai sent a message again very excitedly. That must be taken back, not only Yuang Island, but also the 2 islands that the Lighthouse Devils took away. Brother Leng, where are you going next? Are you going back to Tianshu Island? Qin Tian asked. I won't go back. I'll wander outside for a while. After Filong's strength improves a few more levels, I'll continue to go to the lighthouse devils to intimidate them. See the cold words. Qin Tian couldn't help being awed. 28%. Chapter 143 Commonly used resources each reward 200,000. Have to say, Lang Lai definitely deserves the title of Yanlong Navy God of War. He is a deterrent outside. Those devils from foreign countries dare not let go of their hands and feet to oppress the chosen one of Yanlong Empire to death. This time, he changed the other party's original fate. I hope that the other party can get rid of the premature death and grow up completely. Qin Tian immediately went down to the kitchen. I personally grilled 20 units of the best cuttlefish meat. After trading the past 10 units to the other party, the two ate and chatted away from their respective boats. The power should be practiced coldly. After eating and drinking, Qin Tian watched the opponent's battleship turn and leave. He himself returned to the lounge, lying in bed thinking about the next plan. Grab the first pass of forgotten treasure. Then he saved Lang Lai's life. At the same time, the established plan to kill the Yamato battleship was also completed. Then in the next period of time, it seems that there is nothing that needs him to change. Instead, you can take advantage of this time to search for material barrels and treasure chests, so that the strength of one's battleship can be improved as soon as possible. After all, no one knows. When will the Zarare people, who are afraid of the will of the planet, rush in with space battleships? Dee. And when Qin Tian was lying on the bed thinking about these things, suddenly, a private chat notification sounded in my mind. Open it and have a look. It turned out to be Li Yangming, who hadn't contacted him for a long time. As soon as the other party opened his mouth, he was full of admiration and worship. I'm going, boss, you're so awesome, you actually killed the little devil's battleship Yamato. Wow Kaka, boss, go and have a look, the world chat channel has gone crazy right now, almost everyone is discussing your affairs. Qin Tian smiled faintly when he saw this message. He had already expected this kind of thing. For any country, it is great news that one of the chosen ones can evolve a battleship, while demonstrating the strength of one's own country. It also proves that this country has the strength to barely resist the invasion of alien creatures. Even the evolution of a battleship can cause such a big sensation. Not to mention the loss of one ship. That was absolutely shocking news. I don't need to look at those to know, but how are you doing recently? Has the fishing boat been upgraded to a gunboat? Qin Tian got up from the bed. Use a water bottle to water the fruit trees that have grown again, while sending a message to ask Li Yangming. Haha, I've been lucky these days. I just upgraded the small gun to a medium gunboat yesterday. Qin Tian nodded. Haven't waited for his reply yet. Ddd, sounded again in my mind. Open it and have a look. This time it is Nangong La. Boss, I heard that you slaughtered the little devil's battleship Yamato. Is this true? Qin Tian was happy. It's been passed down like that, you still want to come here and ask me? Nangong happily replied. Didn't I ask you to confirm? Is it true? Qin Tian returned her. It was also lucky, just in time for the other party to place an order, so I gave it to General Lang. Wow, well done, you are indeed my idol. Just finished dealing with Nangong La. Vanessa sent another message over there. God Qin, it's amazing, you can actually sink the battleship Yamato of the Sakura Empire. I heard that the chosen one of the Sakura Empire is super talented. Watching myself blow up all the guys who were invisible before in this battle. Qin Tian also smiled, after chatting with them for a while. Zhang Zongjun actually came to join in the fun. Good boy, I never thought that you and Lang Lai really did it. How did your battleship get promoted? It's a monster. Zhang Zongjun was very excited when he came up. Hey, I didn't expect this time to be so smooth. I can only say that the little devil deserves it. A battleship only brought 2 frigates and 2 destroyers. I'm sorry for this opportunity if I don't sink him. Qin Tian cheerfully asked for credit. General Zhang, I still remember, you said that General Lang and I were really going to sink the battleship of the foreign devils, and you wanted to reward us. Ha ha ha, of course, I came to you to talk about this. I have already given that guy Lang Lai, wood, plastic, flax and metal sheets. I gave him 100,000 units each, but the kid I am overjoyed. He told me that you are the real main force this time, and that his battlecruiser is going to be your cheerleader, so we discussed it and decided to give you 200,000 units for each resource. Hiss. See Zhang Zongjun's information. Qin Tian suddenly sucked in a breath of cold air. 200,000. Does that seem like overkill? 200,000 is a bit too much. Just like Brother Lang, give me 100,000, which means it's all right, and those will be used to upgrade the soldiers. I didn't expect him to send this message. There directly replied. How much? Who do you think we discussed with? The 200,000 yuan was proposed by the officers and soldiers of the fleet. After they learned that you had destroyed the little devil Yamato, they were very happy, and some of them even died. They started clamoring to take back Yuang Island by force. Ha ha ha, passion is a good thing, so that our fleet can be as powerful as a rainbow. Qin Tian laughed. At the same time, my heart is warm. You're right. Oh, yes, the God-favored man who came in from the outside told me that since the last time you led a team to snatch the first pass of a large dungeon from those devils from the Eurasian Federation, the credit is not small. The above directly gave you the false title of Major General of the Empire. This time you made such a great contribution again. The higher-ups want you to join our Yanlong fleet, give you some real power, let you lead a fleet, see if you are interested. Qin Tian was startled when he saw this. I'll go, Major General. How could he become a general of the empire so quickly? But after seeing what Zhang Zongjun said later, he immediately replied, no, I'm still used to searching for resources in the sea by myself, and quickly improve myself. After all, General Zhang, you also know about the Zarare people that the will of the planet said. At that time, you must have the strength to deal with them. Zhang Zongjun nodded when he saw this. He knew that Qin Tian didn't want to be bound by these things. All right, then I'll trade the supplies to you in a while, and you can relax outside. Many foreign devils and powerful forces now regard you as a key target. Don't be fooled. Oh, by the way, your wife and daughter are now enjoying the privileged life of the generals' families in the base, so you don't have to worry about them. Modes okay. See Zhang Zongjun's last message. A smile suddenly appeared on Qin Tian's face. He also knows the privileged life of the generals' families. It is said that food and clothing are the best provided by the military. A lot of money is also distributed every month. It can be said that he doesn't have to worry about life at all. Chatted with Zhang Zongjun for a few more words. The supplies were quickly traded to him over there. Commonly used materials are 200,000 units each. Qin Tian came directly to the warehouse. All the massive materials in the trading market were extracted. Then without saying a word, he entered the working mode of synthetic materials. There are so many resources. His destroyer can go up one level again. A medium-sized destroyer with a displacement of 7 or 8,000 tons is much stronger than his small destroyer. Busy from afternoon to night. Until Yu Dai came to ask him to eat. Only then did Qin Tian stop. After this afternoon of synthesis, the materials to upgrade the battleship are finally available. 29%. Chapter 144 Emergency Weather, Extremely Cold Weather. Exit the warehouse. Qin Tian followed Yu Dai to the restaurant outside the kitchen. Captain, wait a moment, I'll get you some soup. Dinner was superb shark broth. By the way, some grilled octopus meat. When Qin Tian ate half of his meal, Wei Chen came down. Seeing Qin Tian, he respectfully shouted, hello Captain. Qin Tian smiled and said, okay, sit down and eat quickly. After eating, replace Yao Lang. I will upgrade the battleship after you finish eating. Ah, the battleship has been upgraded. Wei Chen sipped the soup. His eyes widened in surprise. Well, so, hurry up and eat. Qin Tian smiled and ate his own rice. Yu Dai quickly walked over, took his bowls and chopsticks into the kitchen and washed them. Qin Tian smiled. After Chao Yuhai greeted Wei Chen. On to the deck. I don't know if it's because of the late dinner today, or because of the change in the climate. Usually come up after dinner. You can still see a little blood red in the setting sun. But after he came up today. But it was pitch black. Only the lights of the battleship illuminated the surroundings. Qin Tian frowned and came to the control room. Captain. Saw him come in. Yao Lang, who was observing the situation of central control on the outside, shouted hastily. Well, Yao Lang, what time is it? Qin Tian 240 asked the other party directly. It's only 6:03, Captain. Yao Lang looked at his watch and replied. 6:03. Qin Tian was taken aback. Then do you remember what time it was dark? He frowned again and asked. It was past 6 o'clock in those few days, and the sun had not yet set. But it got dark so early today, which made him somewhat nervous. At this time point in the last life, it seems that such a dark situation did not occur so early. It seemed that another event influenced by him was about to happen. It was dark about 20 minutes ago. Hear Qin Tian's questioning. Yao Ming replied truthfully. Then what? Yao Lang, you should go down to eat now. I'll take a look in the control room. Come up after you eat with Wei Chen. I'm going to upgrade the battleship one more level. Qin Tian temporarily suppressed the uneasiness in his heart. He opened his mouth and said to Yao Lang, "Wow, is the battleship upgradable again?" "Yes, Captain, we'll be back soon." Yao Lang was as excited as a child when he heard it. After greeting Qin Tian, he quickly rushed out of the control room. Qin Tian smiled. Then he walked to the center console and looked at the radar scan. After seeing no problem, he watched the night scene outside through the window BBEH and waited. About 7 or 8 minutes passed. There was a noise outside. They saw Yao Lang and Wei Chen walking in one after the other. The corner of Qin Tian's mouth twitched. "Eat it so soon." Yao Lang smiled, hee, and said, "Isn't this just to see what it will be like to finish the level?" Qin Tian laughed, ha, a few times after hearing this. Then he patted the shoulders of the two of them and said, "Okay, then you guys watch here, I will go down and upgrade the battleship." Under the gaze of the two, Qin Tian then returned to his lounge. Open the attribute panel of the battleship with divine detective technique. May I ask if the captain consumes 30,000 high-quality wood, 40,000 high-quality plastics, 20,000 high-quality nails, and 20,000 high-quality metal sheets to advance small destroyers? Yes. Qin Tian threw himself on the bed and chose to advance. Instantly, a brilliant golden light enveloped the entire battleship. And Qin Tian was lying on his big bed. As a result, I fell asleep without knowing it. I do not know how long it has been. Qin Tian vaguely heard the sound of bang bang bang, knocking on the door. He opened his eyes bewilderedly. Then listened carefully. Sure enough, there was a rapid and forceful knock on the door. And it was accompanied by an anxious shout of, "Captain, Captain." "Okay, I'm getting up." Qin Tian wanted to shout at the top of his voice. It turned out that his voice was a little soft. He experienced it carefully. Only then did I realize that my body, limbs, and thinking speed, including my brain, slowed down like a turtle crawling. Teeth are still chattering from time to time. What's the situation? Qin Tian struggled to do it slowly. As a result, exhale. He saw a cold breath exhaled from his mouth. Breathing. Cold. Lie on. Wouldn't it be the extremely cold climate of World of Warships? Qin Tian immediately shook his head and walked to the door. Unlock the lock and pull the door open. Yao Lang, Yu Dai and Wei Chen were all there outside. Phew, that's great, Captain, let's go to the stove in the kitchen as soon as possible. The temperature outside suddenly dropped, and a thick layer of frost formed on the glass of the battleship, which frightened me an old way to come down in a hurry. Quote. Yao Lang saw Qin Tian wake up. Hastily explained the situation. Well, let's go, this is an emergency weather, it seems to be extremely cold weather. Qin Tian rubbed the numb tip of his nose from the cold and said with lingering fear. Although the F-King Big Bed has a miraculous effect on insomnia. But it is also very dangerous in such an emergency situation. If Yu Dai and Yao Ming didn't call themselves today. I just lay on that bed and slept all night like a dead pig. Will it be frozen into an ice sculpture the next day? The more I think about it, Qin Tian felt more and more fortunate in his heart. Follow Yu Dai and the others to the kitchen. Just came in. A gust of heat rushed to his face. The warm kitchen dispelled some of the cold from their bodies. There are legendary stoves to toast this one kitchen. Keep the temperature of the entire kitchen at least around 245 degrees. Several people warmed up by the fire. Then Yu Dai poured out hot octopus soup from the pot. In such a cold weather, you can drink a sip of warm broth. This is simply a fairy-like experience. Yao Lang and Wei Chen picked up the bowl and blew. After taking a big sip, both of them had, "I'm alive again," expressions on their faces. Yao Lang, what's the situation outside? Is the battleship still sailing? Qin Tian also asked after taking a sip of broth. Still sailing, Captain. Hearing Qin Tian's question, Yao Lang immediately reported. Although the cold current came quickly and urgently, when I ran down with Ah Chen, I saw that the sea water in the sea was not affected. Hear this. Qin Tian nodded reassuringly. Anyway. As long as the battleship can continue to run, it will be fine. After all, many of his appliances are powered by solar and hydropower. In this case, God knows whether the sun will rise during the day tomorrow. If there is no sun, his battleship couldn't run. I am afraid that a lot of things such as water purifiers and refrigerators will no longer be usable. The four of them drank hot soup silently in the kitchen. As for Qin Tian's thought, he opened the national chat channel. I'm dizzy. Why did the weather suddenly get cold? Frozen to death. Damn it, is this extremely cold weather in an emergency? Those who don't have a stove on board can wish for luck. Brothers, if you don't have a stove, don't sleep if you can. Someone in our fleet will freeze to death. 29%. Chapter 145 Genesis Stove. Look at the various contents in the country chat channel. Qin Tian confirmed that he had indeed encountered an emergency. Then he had a thought. Opened the world chat channel again. I saw someone inside asking for a stove. Selling hot soup. Complaining about the extreme cold. Everything you need. From all this content information, Qin Tian knew that this sudden emergency weather was not only aimed at certain sea areas. Instead, it covers the entire world of warships. This made Qin Tian feel dizzy all of a sudden. It can instantly frost the windshield of the battleship. The temperature is at least 70 or 80 degrees below zero. Even minus 100. I don't know how long this cold wave will last. This time period in the previous life did not happen. So Qin Tian didn't have the advantage of foresight. Dee. And at this moment, the private chat prompt sounded. Qin Tian opened it and took a look. It was actually a message from Zhang Zongjun. Are you all right, boy? It just so happens that Curry in Tianshu Island has an epic stove blueprint, and I'll trade it for you later. Talking. He also attached the information of the furnace blueprint at the back. Qin Tian was originally prepared to refuse. But when I think about it, if this wave of cold wave lasts too long, they can't all stay under the deck all the time, can they? Someone has to be on duty in the control room every now and then. Then there must be a stove in the control room. Think here. He dismissed the idea of refusing. Send a message to Zhang Zongjun. General Zhang, this blueprint is indeed what I need urgently now, but I have already taken too many things from our military department. Why don't I trade this blueprint with supplies? 1. The information was sent back to him soon. When did you become such a mother-in-law? You are now the future hope of our empire's gods chosen. Even if you are frozen, no one can freeze you. Just accept it quickly, and you will be the one who sank the little devil Yamato rewarded. Subsequently, Zhang Zongjun sent him a transaction application. See each other's information. Qin Tian smiled. Immediately no longer polite, he directly traded the stove blueprint. The stove they are using now was advanced by him using green ordinary blueprints when he was in novice sea territory. This epic level blueprint should be a creation level stove. I don't know what kind of benefits the Genesis stove can bring him. With doubts and expectations, Qin Tian directly used divine detective technique to look at the blueprint in his hand. Item. Epic furnace blueprint. Quality. Purple. Production requirements. 500 ordinary wood, 100 ordinary metal sheets, 100 ordinary nails. Efficacy. After successfully igniting the fire, every unit of low-quality wood consumed can burn for half an hour, every unit of ordinary wood consumed can burn for 2 hours, and every unit of high-quality wood consumed can burn for 4 hours. Ordinary advancement. Inferior wood 2000, inferior metal sheet 1000, inferior nails 1000, can be advanced into an orange legendary stove. High-quality goods advanced. Ordinary wood 2000, ordinary metal sheet 1000, ordinary nails 1000, can be advanced into a red mythical stove. Advanced advancement. 2000 high-quality wood, 2000 high-quality metal sheets, 1000 high-quality nails, which can be advanced into colorful creation-level torches. Sure enough, it is the creation level. See here. Qin Tian immediately couldn't care less about drinking soup. Holding the stove blueprint in his hand, he said to the three of them, I'll go to the warehouse to collect some supplies. After I make this stove blueprint, our situation will be much better. Finished. He turned around and walked out. Looking at the back of Qin Tian shrinking his neck and leaving. Yao Lang, Yu Dai, and Wei Chen were all moved in their hearts. This young captain is really kind. Yeah, it's not comparable to that trash captain of our last ship. Look at Captain Qin. As long as we do our job well, he will never beat or scold us, and he will eat anything delicious and drink. Share it with us. Listen to Yao Lang and Wei Chen's words. Yu Dai said with a smile. In this case, we must protect the captain's warship wholeheartedly. That's for sure. From now on, this is my home, and the captain is my brother. Whoever wants to destroy our home, I will fight him hard. Yes, me too. Qin Tian, who was enduring the cold and walking in the aisle, suddenly heard the voice of the will of the planet resounding in his mind. Ding! Crew member Yao Lang's loyalty has exceeded 100. Congratulations to the captain for getting a loyal crew member. Ding! Crew member Wei Chen's loyalty has broken through 100, and Captain Shi has gained a loyal crew member. Ding! The loyalty of the crew has exceeded 100 in the sea. Congratulations to the captain for getting a loyal crew member. Question mark. Is this a horse situation? Why did I suddenly receive the loyal service of 3 people? However, the extremely cold temperature prevented him from thinking so much. Asking for flowers, quickly ran to the warehouse. After 3 times, 5 times and 2 divisions, the materials are synthesized. He immediately ran back into the kitchen. Once in the kitchen, feel the warm heat. Only then did he breathe a sigh of relief. Start to move the fingers that are almost frozen. Captain, are you all right? Saw him come back. Yao Lang and the other 3 hurried up to meet them. Yu Hai handed Qin Tian a bowl of hot soup. Qin Tian took it and took a sip. It felt like my body was getting warmer. Okay, step aside, let me see what kind of stove this blueprint can create. He let the 3 of Yu Dai clear an open space. Then he took out the blueprint and selected the advanced item. To make a high-level advanced stove, you need to consume 2,000 high-quality wood, 2,000 high-quality metal pieces, and 1,000 high-quality nails. Will the captain make it? 0. Make. Qin Tian nodded without hesitation. With the disappearance of drawings and warehouse curry materials, soon one was as tall as an orange stove. But the black and bright stove, which was 3 circles bigger than the orange stove, appeared in front of several people. Qin Tian used divine detective technique to check. Item. Genesis stove. Quality. Colorful. Efficacy. After successfully igniting the fire, every unit of low-quality wood consumed can burn for 2 hours, every unit of ordinary wood consumed can burn for 6 hours, and every unit of high-quality wood consumed can burn for 12 hours. After igniting the furnace, open the furnace cover, so that all places within a radius of 500 meters can be shrouded in the blessing of warmth. Note: the warm effect can dispel all cold. See the profile behind the stove. Suddenly, Qin Tian's eyes lit up. This is fine. It is the buff he urgently needs now. Without any hesitation, he directly moved the stove to the side of the orange legendary stove. Then removed the grill above the orange burner. Immediately afterwards, he opened the lid of the Genesis stove. Take 2 pieces from a large pile of wood specially prepared beside the sea. After being ignited in an orange quality furnace, it was put into a Genesis grade furnace. The wooden plank, which was just a small flame, burst into flames as soon as it was put into the stove. Follow this flame to rise up. The temperature of the entire kitchen rose another 2 or 3 degrees in an instant. And Qin Tian didn't say anything else. He turned his head and walked out of the kitchen. 29%. Chapter 146 Displacement of 8,000 tons is expected to drive. Captain. See Qin Tian's action. Yao Lang was a little confused. Subconsciously shouted, "It's okay, the effect of this stove is that after being lit, it can apply a cold repelling effect within a radius of 500 meters. I'll try the effect." Qin Tian waved his hand. He walked straight out of the kitchen. As a result, it was no longer cold outside. Although there is no such temperature as before that wearing half sleeves will not be cold. But wearing long sleeves is no problem at all. Hear Qin Tian's words. And seeing Qin Tian walk out of the kitchen, he didn't shrink his neck from the cold. Yao Lang and the other 3 walked out immediately. One experience. All 3 laughed immediately. Ah, it really is. It's not cold at all. Although not related to heat. But they don't feel the slightest bit of chill when they wear long sleeves. Wow, that's amazing, Captain. It's really not cold anymore. Yao Lang exclaimed. 797. Wei Chen and Yu Dai also looked surprised. A radius of 500 meters. Doesn't that mean that they can come and go freely on the entire battleship? Qin Tian returned to the kitchen. After moving the creation level stove to the position against the wall, he said to the 3 people, "That's enough, Lao Yu, you pay attention to lighting the fire in this stove. Generally, a piece of high-quality wood can burn for 12 hours. Just put 2 pieces in there." "Okay, Captain, I'll take care." Glancing at the huge stove, Yu Dai nodded earnestly with fiery eyes. This is a baby bump. In the future, it will depend on it to drive out the cold and resist the cold. Okay, then those who should be on duty are on duty, and those who should be sleeping are sleeping. With this stove, we don't have to worry about the cold wave. Qin Tian finished speaking to several people. He raised his head and drank all the broth in his bowl. Seeing this, Yu Dai immediately walked over and took the bowl from Qin Tian's hand. Qin Tian. Okay. At this moment, he suddenly understood why so many people wanted to be a master. This kind of sense of power that you need to do everything you need to have someone do it for you is really enjoyable. No wonder so many people want to climb more and more after taking power. It's not unreasonable. He nodded towards several people. Only then did Qin Tian suddenly realize something. Some curiously asked, is our warship bigger after upgrading? He didn't pay attention just now because of the cold. But think about it now. It looks like when he went to the warehouse just now. The way to go is much more than usual. Just mention this. The three immediately regained their spirits. Yao Lang said excitedly. Yes, Captain, after the upgrade of the battleship, Chen and I walked around it, and our battleship has increased by at least 20 meters, and its width has increased a lot. Quote. Wei Chen, who was somewhat introverted, kept nodding beside him. Yu Dai also said, and we have added several large rooms to the cabin below. Oh, how big is the area? Qin Tian hurriedly asked after hearing the words. That's the benefit of having a crew. They specialize in art. Some things no longer require you to do it yourself. Just ask them. I looked at it before, and there are 4 additional cabins, 3 of which are ordinary rest cabins, and one is about 100 square meters, which can be used as a second warehouse. Yu Dai talked about what he had checked. More than 100 square meters. Qin Tian's eyes lit up when he heard this. Wouldn't it be possible to build a large-scale planting ecological cabin? More than 100 square meters is not big. But maybe it can be expanded in the future. Okay, take me to have a look tomorrow. After tossing for most of the night, no one has a rest, so let's go to rest now. Then he said to Yao Lang and Wei Chen, you two don't have to work so hard these days, just put the fire control system of the battleship on alert, and then go to sleep when you should, and keep this person in the control room every night, just keep watch, anyway, you can sleep on a recliner. In this extremely cold climate, ordinary people also don't have the ability to walk happily on the deck after leaving the stove. Unless he also has a baby bump similar to the Genesis stove. Certainly, in this world, there are always some lucky European emperors who are full of luck. More or less still have to be on guard. That's why Qin Tian asked Wei Chen and Yao Lang to stay alone in the control room every day. Okay, Captain, we know. Yao Lang and Wei Chen nodded in agreement. Qin Tian didn't say anything more. Back in his rest cabin, lying on the bed, he couldn't wait to open the current attribute panel of his battleship. Name, Medium Destroyer. Displacement, 8,000 tons. ER 157 times 17.2 times 7.6. Health volume, 23,500. 4898-5048. Defense, 320. Strengthened fire control system. Power system, ZH 2500 gas turbine times 4. Speed, 30 plus 5 knots. Weapon system, 100 mm double-barreled stealth naval gun green times 1, Yan 76A 37 mm double automatic anti-aircraft gun green times 4, Genesis class dual 57 mm naval gun colorful times 1, dual 57 mm naval gun orange times 1, 8 unit Yanlong 007 ship-to-air missile launcher times 1, 4 quadruple Yanlong Z802 anti-ship missile launcher times 1, 52 122 mm rocket launcher times 2, triple mounted 324 mm torpedo launcher times 2. Fire control radar orange. Strengthen the missile device. Enhance the radar system. Enhanced torpedo system. Ordinary advancement. Low quality wood 80,000, low quality plastic 80,000, low quality nails 50,000, low quality metal sheet 50,000, can be advanced to a large destroyer common. High quality goods advanced. Ordinary wood 60,000, ordinary plastic 70,000, ordinary nails 40,000, ordinary metal sheet 40,000, can be advanced into a large destroyer excellent. Advanced advancement. 50,000 high quality wood, 50,000 high quality plastic, 30,000 high quality nails, 40,000 high quality metal sheets, can be advanced into a large destroyer exquisite. After seeing the displacement of 8,000 tons and the length of the hull of 157 meters, the corners of Qin Tian's mouth curled up unconsciously. A medium-sized destroyer is already 8,000 tons. It seems that there is hope for upgrading the big drive by yourself. In World of Warships, ordinary people upgrade battleships normally. Upgrading a battleship to a large destroyer means a displacement of 7 to 8,000 tons. Then go up to the cruiser with a displacement of 10,000 tons. But there is a kind of person whose battleship ability has been strengthened to the extreme. 1.1 When upgrading a medium destroyer to a large destroyer, it can break through the definition and directly upgrade the destroyer into a large destroyer with a displacement of 10,000 tons. This kind of destroyer with a displacement of 10,000 tons is called a large drive. Possess a combat capability capable of rivaling cruisers and even battleships. Generally speaking, there may not be one large destroyer out of a million destroyers. Although I am very confident in the face of my battleship. But now it's a certainty. That naturally made Qin Tian feel completely at ease. After reading the attribute panel of your battleship, Qin Tian fell into a deep sleep with a satisfied smile. The next morning, Qin Tian woke up a little after 8 o'clock. He was woken up by peeing. It's all because he forgot to go to the bathroom after drinking broth in the kitchen last night. Under the blessing of Universal Mosaic, Qin Tian went to the toilet. Then I didn't feel like going back to sleep again. After washing up, I went to the kitchen. 29%. Chapter 147 Ready to plant rice, almighty old you. Captain, why did you get up so early? Didn't you sleep a little longer? In the kitchen, when Yu Hai saw Qin Tian coming in, he quickly took a bowl and began to pour out fish soup for him. I'm dizzy, Lao Yu, is it this hot? Qin Tian looked at the figure of Yu Dai who was busy in the kitchen wearing half sleeves. Can't help but ask with some surprise. Hee, Captain, you will know when you come in. Yu Hai said with a smile. Qin Tian walked in immediately after hearing the words. Then just go in. He felt that the kitchen was full of steam. Combined with the heat of 2 stoves. It was really humid and hot. Qin Tian backed out without saying a word. He looked at Yu Dai and couldn't help laughing. Old Yu, it's really hard work for you. Don't worry, I will give you a few more apples as compensation when the fruits are ripe in a few days. Haha, Captain, that's what you said. Yu Hai brought out a bowl of shark soup and a few pieces of grilled octopus meat, put them on the table in front of Qin Tian, and said with a smile. Don't worry, I can't do without you. After Qin Tian finished speaking, he began to eat with big mouthfuls. After eating and drinking, he said to Yu Hai who was packing up the dishes. 11 Lao Yu, I'll go up to see what's going on outside, and take me to the 100 square meter cabin later. Okay, no problem. Yu Hai agreed without hesitation. Qin Tian quickly went up to the deck. See this scene. Everyone who was watching the live broadcast in the live broadcast room was taken aback. Oh my god, why did God Qin come out wearing a long-sleeved shirt? Ha ha ha, don't you know it's cold outside? Do you think he will be frozen into an ice sculpture? Fake, why didn't this Qin Tian respond at all? I saw a god-chosen member of the Sand Bear Empire who was naked and wanted to challenge the cold wave, but he was froze immediately. Then it became an ice sculpture. Ba ga, damn Qin Tian, murderer, executioner, why can't even this kind of peak deal with this Yanlong man? I don't understand, it might not be so cold in the cabin below the deck because of the stove, but it's on the open deck, why is he still so indifferent? Everyone in the studio was puzzled. After Qin Tian got on the deck, he came to the side of the boat first. Looking at the gray sky, the howling cold wind on the sea swirled one after another of crystal clear ice and snow. You can feel the extreme cold just by looking at it. Fortunately, in World of Warships, the sea is protected by special rules and will not be greatly affected by these harsh weathers. Otherwise, all his items that rely on hydropower may have to go out of business. Facing everything that looked extremely cold, Qin Tian stood on his battleship, opened his arms and took a deep breath of the warm fresh air. Then stretched a big lazy waist comfortably. In the studio, everyone who saw this scene became numb immediately. This unscientific. The other chosen ones could only curl up by the stove to keep warm and live. Why is this Yanlong person not afraid of the extreme cold? Walking so swaggeringly on the deck of a battleship. Does he have any superpowers? Of course, Qin Tian didn't know the doubts of the audience in the live broadcast room. At this moment, he stretched his body a little bit. Then came to the control room. Captain, Captain. Saw him come in. Yao Lang and Wei Chen hurriedly greeted each other. Well, how does it feel? Is there anything uncomfortable? Qin Tian nodded and asked. No, Captain, the stove you built is really amazing, it doesn't feel cold at all. Yao Lang said with a look of admiration. In this kind of weather where the outside temperature can directly freeze people into ice sculptures, their warships can bloom in spring as usual. It's really amazing. Stove. What stove? What kind of stove can have this ability? Why have I never heard of it? Hear Yao Ming's words. Many people in the live broadcast room immediately paid attention. That's good. Since this is the case, then I will leave it to you. After seeing everything is fine, Qin Tian patted the shoulders of the two, and then returned below the deck. He first went to the warehouse to combine the wood, sheet metal and plastic. Then I went to the kitchen. At the door of the kitchen, Tian Tianai was already waiting. See Qin Tian come over. He immediately led the way to a cabin. He unscrewed the door, walked in first and pressed the switch on the wall. The originally dark room instantly became brightly lit. Qin Tian walked in and took a look. I saw that the whole room was empty. The area is about exactly 100 square meters. This made Qin Tian very satisfied. Captain, are you planning to use this room as a warehouse? See the smile on Qin Tian's face. Yu Dai asked curiously. No, Qin Tian took out the blueprint from his pocket. One side said to the former, I want to build a planting ecological cabin here and plant some rice, so that we can eat rice in the future. Qin Tian said here. I couldn't help but swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Although he has an orange stove and grill to enhance the texture and taste of the food. But after eating grilled fish and seafood soup for so long, he also felt a little tired. It's just because I have experienced the feeling of being hungry several times in my previous life. This made him cherish food all the time and was reluctant to waste it. Even after eating grilled fish for such a long time, it still tastes delicious. And after hearing that Qin Tian was going to plant rice in this room, Yu Hai was also stunned. But what followed was a look of ecstasy. Captain 710, do we really want to grow rice? He asked in disbelief. Well, but what I have a headache now is the issue of harvest. Plant good seeds, but how to select good seeds when harvesting is a problem. After all, I have no experience in this area at all. Quote. Qin Tian sighed helplessly and said worriedly. Now he can only hope that a crew member who knows how to grow rice will be rescued in the near future. And at this moment, but Yu Hai slapped his thigh and said excitedly, Captain, there is nothing to worry about, just leave it to me. Qin Tian listened. His eyes were fixed on Yu Hai's face in an instant. Old you mean you know how to grow rice? That's not right. I only heard Yu Hai said with a smile. Before I became a sailor, my job was farming, but because the harvest was not good, and I caught up with the invasion of the Zarer people, I left my hometown and chose in order to become a sailor, fight against the Zarians. Hear the words. Qin Tian was simply overjoyed. What kind of fairy seaman did I rescue? He is strong enough to work, repair, cook, and even farm now. It seems that apart from not being able to control battleships and having children, this man seems to know everything else. I found a treasure. Qin Tian secretly thought in surprise. 29%. Chapter 148 Build a planting ecological cabin. Okay, Lao Yu, after the planting ecological cabin is finished, I will give you full responsibility for everything. After learning that Yu Dai can farm land, Qin Tian was really overjoyed. He said directly with a smile. Captain, don't worry, I can't guarantee anything else. After the harvest, it will be absolutely fine for everyone to eat delicious, plump and high-quality rice. Yu Dai patted his chest confidently and assured. He really didn't expect it. I have been a sailor for decades. Unexpectedly, one day, I would be able to pick up my old job and do it again. Thinking of the taste of white rice that I almost forgot. His mouth also involuntarily secreted a lot of saliva. How many years has he not eaten rice? 10 years. Or 20 years. He couldn't remember it himself. Okay, then I'll get out the planting ecological cabin first. Qin Tian said. Use the divine detective technique to open the advanced level of the large planting ecological cabin blueprint. Building a large-scale planting ecological cabin requires 1,000 high-quality wood, 1,200 high-quality metal sheets, and 1,500 high-quality plastics. Will the captain build it? Put up. Qin Tian confirmed. Then the drawing disappears. Immediately afterwards, the empty room began to change. The wooden floors were replaced by soil. The walls are also covered with a special unknown green moss. What's even more amazing is that a small artificial sun appeared at the top of the room. It provides sufficient photosynthesis to the land in this cabin just like the real sun. See this scene. Don't talk about the sea. Even the viewers in the live broadcast room were all stunned. Don't tell me, the ball of light above Qin Tian's head is an artificial sun. No, this is unscientific. I saw that Cecily also built this kind of planting ecological cabin on her own battleship, and even Cecily's blueprint is epic, but even so, there is no artificial sun. His Qin, how can there be an artificial sun in a planting ecological cabin built by Tian with an ordinary blueprint? Ba ga, this Qin Tian actually still has rice seeds. Doesn't that mean he won't have to worry about food anymore? I don't know what weakness this Qin Tian has. There is no shortage of water, and food is about to start growing rice. Do we really have to fight this Qin Wei again? Alien civilization invasion. We should unite together to fight against the enemy. They are all the main fighters, insist on doing something to weaken the strength of the Yanlong Empire, so that the Yanlong Empire can attract the main force of alien creatures, so as to give our chosen ones strive for time to grow. In 2 or 3 years, I haven't seen how strong our Eurasian Federation is. Indeed, it's time to make a change, uniting the strengths of all countries in the world to fight against alien creatures. This is the right path. After Qin Tian showed more and more powerful strength and background, the voices of countries advocating joint resistance against the enemy suddenly appeared at this moment. People in many countries did not support infighting in the first place. I hope that the Lighthouse Empire can lead all countries in the world to resist foreign enemies together. But who would have thought that a lighthouse led is a lead? But he was actually afraid that the increasingly powerful Yanlong Empire would threaten his rule as the world's largest country. When the war is at a disadvantage, the hawks of the Lighthouse Empire secretly established the Eurasian Federation. The purpose is to let the Yanlong Empire attract the main force of alien creatures and buy time for the gods from all over the world to grow up. Let the gods from all over the world secretly form a joint fleet. Then mercilessly attack the 3 islands of Beidou in the Yanlong Empire. As a result, the strength of the Yanlong Empire dropped sharply, successfully attracting the main fleet of alien creatures. Originally, everything was as expected by those careerists in the Lighthouse Empire. But they underestimated the tenacity of Yanlong Empire. A lean camel is bigger than a horse, even if completely isolated. Even without an ally. However, the Yanlong Empire still relied on its own strength to forcibly survive in the world of warships for 3 years. This caused half of the Beacon Empire's original plan against the Yanlong Empire to fail. And as 3 years passed, with the efforts of the 3 Yanlong generals Zhang Zongjun and Leng Lai, the Yanlong Empire has also successfully formed an elite navy with a population of hundreds of thousands. This puts the countries of the Eurasian Federation in a dilemma. I'm afraid that the Yanlong Empire will come to a dead end with them. Hit but dare not hit. There is no opportunity for peace talks. The result was endless infighting. And now with the appearance of Qin Tian, the spoiler, the peacemakers from all over the world suddenly appeared one after another as if they saw hope. And at this time in World of Warships, with the completion of the large-scale planting ecological cabin, Qin Tian immediately took out the bag of fine rice seeds that Li Yangming had traded to him from his pocket. Hey, Lao Yu, I'll leave this bag of seeds to you. You can use the supplies on the battleship as you like. I only have one request, and that is to plant the rice well. After speaking, Qin Tian handed the rice seeds in his hand to Yu Dai. Don't worry, Captain, this is my old profession. Yu Hai patted his chest. After speaking, he stretched out his hand with confidence and took the seeds. Qin Tian nodded. Then he handed over the matter of the ecological cabin to Yu Dai to take care of it. And he himself returned to the kitchen. Because he suddenly remembered. I haven't traded water for Zhang Zongjun today. Considering the extreme cold weather, many of the naval fighters of the Yanlong Empire may be short of water because they can't salvage the barrels of supplies. Qin Tian simply took 800 bottles of water. He traded directly to Zhang Zongjun. Sorry, General Zhang, I was so busy this morning that I forgot about the water. This is 800 bottles of water. Zhang Zongjun didn't ask any more questions. He replied straightforwardly. Great, with your extra 300 bottles of water, we can relieve the urgent needs of more than 300 soldiers. Qin Tian, see what supplies you need, send them to me, and I will trade them directly to you. See Zhang Zongjun's information. Qin Tian asked for 40,000 units of low-quality metal pieces. After getting the water deal done, he also didn't want to point fingers at Yu Dai's work. Wang's good. So I just took the rope hook and came to the deck again. By flat map, after turning on the barrel hooker mode, continue to search for material barrels. That's it. The day passed silently. In the evening, after dinner, Qin Tian went to the planting ecology room to take a look. Not to mention, the original soil has been irrigated by the sea to become a paddy field. And that bag of seeds is growing seedlings. Qin Tian nodded, standing at the door with a thought, using divine detective technique to look at the entire rice field. Item: large planting ecological rice field Li. Quality: orange. Area: 100 square meters. Efficacy: a planting site with automatic adjustment of room temperature and ecological environment. Introduction: magical planting land. Planting any crops can get 200% extra harvest, and under sufficient photosynthesis, it can shorten the maturity time of crops by 40%. And immune to all natural disasters. 30%. Chapter 149: The Alien Army Attacks the Empire. See the function and introduction of the ecological rice field. A satisfied smile appeared on Qin Tian's face immediately. Unexpectedly, this large-scale planting ecological cabin is so powerful. The entire piece of land that comes with it actually has the effect of red soil. Although it is 50% shorter than the 90% reduction time of red soil crops. But the 200% extra harvest and immunity to all natural disasters are enough to surprise him. After all, the results from the 3 pots of fruit trees prove it. These 2 functions are easy to use. Close the door. He whistled and went back to his room. After washing up, he lay on the bed and opened the national chat channel. I'm lost. When will this extreme cold weather pass? I would rather encounter an extremely hot climate than experience this extreme cold. Upstairs, close your crow's mouth. Don't be extremely cold like in the Novice Sea, then it will be extremely hot, then it will be really barbecue. Bosses, who among you has extra salt? Let's trade some to the little brother. The fish broth without seasoning is really about to vomit. My God, brothers, something serious happened. Just half an hour ago, the main force of aliens besieging our empire launched a new round of attacks on us. What? Damn, I hope my parents are okay. I tied my husband and my daughter, and I don't know if they will be safe. See these chats. Qin Tian's heart also rose instantly. 563. Is the army of alien creatures besieging the empire attacking again? Right time. It seems to be almost the same. The last life seems to be this time. Alien creatures have attacked the empire. At that time, he was weak and could only pray that Muningshe and Qin Shao would be safe and sound. But in this life, he has evolved the battleship into a medium-sized destroyer. In terms of the strength of full firepower, it seems that there is no problem in single challenging battleships. Presumably, my wife and daughter should have enough self-protection ability this time. He thought so. And at this time, in the present world, the night sky of the Yanlong Empire has been illuminated by countless attack energies and particle beam cannons, making it look like daylight. There are hundreds of thousands of small airships in the atmosphere, fighting back and forth with the first God's favored legion deployed in midair by the Yanlong Empire's military headquarters. Numerous frigates and destroyers, phantoms of tens of meters condensed above the hundreds of thousands of first God-favored corps. On the one hand, defend against the particle beam cannons and smart drones of alien airships. On the one hand, shelling and missile counterattacks are constantly being carried out. The two sides fought inseparably. From time to time, airships or warship phantoms will explode. Wreckage and corpses fell like rain. And at the same time, there are also thousands of alien airships that slipped through the net and broke through the interception of the first God's blessed legion. They rushed into the airspace of the Yanlong Empire. The densely packed intelligent drones were released to attack and plunder human cities. Mom, come on, I will beat those aliens to the ground. On the roof of a building at the Zhongzhou military base, Qin Xiaoxiao was standing in front of Muningshe, cheering on her mother. And not far from them, there are also more than a dozen pale civilians with frightened faces. On the other side are more than 50 of the military's own gods. Often when a few airships of alien creatures broke into the hinterland of the empire, it is necessary for them, the chosen ones stationed in various cities, to stand up and defend against the enemy. There are no eggs under the nest. Everyone understands this truth. So no one will play tricks at this juncture. And upstairs, except for their 60 or 70 God-favored people, there are hundreds of ordinary soldiers. They stand on this commanding height without fear of life and death. Everyone holds a newly researched laser gun in their hands. This laser gun can hit a distance of more than 3,000 meters. As long as more than 50 laser beams can be focused on an alien airship, the alien airship's defense barrier can be broken immediately and it will be blown up. In this way, once a few alien airships break through the blocking of the God's blessed front, Ordinary soldiers like them can also use their own flesh and blood to build a third line of defense. Xiao Xiao, you will stand next to these soldier uncles for a while, don't run around, and wait for your mother to come back obediently, do you understand? Mu Ningxie was worried about leaving her daughter alone at home. But he didn't dare to let the little BBFA girl fight with her on the shaped airship. So we can only leave her on the roof. Seriously exhort. Don't worry, Mom, I won't run around, and Xiao Xiao has the ability to protect these soldiers' uncle. Talking. I saw seriousness written on Qin Xiao Xiao's face. Then the battleship imprint on his forehead emitted a dazzling golden light. Immediately, a phantom of a miniature destroyer more than 10 meters long appeared above her head. Coming. And at this moment, in the ranks of the military gods, a beautiful female officer looked at the hundreds of blue light spots flashing in the distance, and said with a very ugly expression. It was Li Changxi, Qin's little class teacher. Damn, how come so many come to us? See those hundreds of faint blue light spots. All the soldiers and gods all showed ugly expressions. As for those civilians who were favored by the gods, they showed even more despair. In the past, even 30 or 40 alien airships came. They will lose more than a dozen God-favored people. This time, hundreds of airships came directly. Can Zhongzhou hold off again? Everyone summons the battleship and prepares for battle. Li Changxi didn't say much. A phantom of a destroyer more than 40 meters long was summoned directly from the mark. The other soldiers of God's favored one saw this. It also started calling immediately. Most of them are large gunboats of more than 10 meters, and only 5 or 6 are phantom frigates with considerable combat power. Okay, Mom trusts you, and you will protect these soldier uncles well when the time comes. Seeing that the war is about to break out, after stroking her daughter's hair, Mu Ningxie said to the 4 soldiers with laser guns beside them, please take care of my daughter. The 4 soldiers raised their heads and raised their chests resolutely and said, please rest assured, we will protect the little one to the death. Ever since Qin Tian sank Sakura Devil's Yamato battleship in World of Warships, countless soldiers of the Yanlong Empire regarded Qin Tian as their idol and role model. Now they are needed to protect the idol's daughter. They are naturally obliged. Okay, thank you all. After looking at her daughter for the last time, Mu Ningxie turned her head resolutely and walked towards Li Changxi. With the battleship imprint on her forehead, there was a bright golden light. Then a destroyer with a length of 100 meters, condensed like a substance, proudly stood in front of all the destroyers. And those favored ones who were still a little anxious and desperate saw Mu Ningxie, a warship phantom that was stronger than the first favored one's army. The anxiety in my heart disappeared immediately. Yes indeed, they have that wife here. That destroyer can sink even the little devil's battleship. Dealing with these most common alien airships is not easy. Little mother, is Xiao Xiao settled down? Li Changxi asked Mu Ningxie with a smile. 30%. Chapter 151 Shot 1. 3 minutes over. Hearing Li Changxi's inquiry, Mu Ningxie also responded with a grateful smile. Well, I have to thank Teacher Li for allowing Xiao Xiao to stay here. What's the matter? Let Xiao Xiao stay, just to protect these ordinary soldiers. After Li Changxi finished speaking, she looked at the alien airship that was getting closer and closer against the background of countless particle beam cannons in the distance. With a serious expression, he said loudly, for our relatives and homeland, kill. Immediately, she soared into the air. Standing on his own destroyer, he took the lead in meeting those alien airships. Just like the Chosen One will not be attacked by artillery fire on the battleship. The same goes for the gods. As long as your own battleship Phantom is not destroyed, then they have the buff that is immune to damage, and they also have the ability to follow the battleship Phantom Yukong. And when they saw the commander, they all took the lead. The soldiers of the other gods did not dare to delay. One after another, the phantoms of the battleships were urged to fly into the air to keep up. Dozens of warship phantoms arranged in a rectangular formation and began to attack. They have to block the alien airship outside the city and destroy it. Attack. Seeing that the intelligent drone swarm of those alien airships had rushed towards them, and began to shoot sporadically, Li Changxi immediately issued an attack order. Boom boom boom. Instantly, all the phantoms of the warships suddenly let out a deafening roar. Countless energy shells and energy missiles cut through the void like a tide, and blasted towards the hundreds of alien airships. Most attacks in front of those alien airships will be blocked by a layer of energy shield that appears and disappears. But the bombardment of the destroyer Mu Ningxie stood out from the crowd. Not in this category. Her bombardment is like a tyrant ruling the entire battlefield. Those energy shields that can prevent others are useless in front of the orange quality dual 57mm naval guns on her battleship. Not to mention that there is another stronger Genesis-class dual 57mm naval gun. The two naval guns roared each time. There must be two alien airships full of technological colors being blasted out of 4 big holes. Then it disintegrated and exploded with a bang in midair. Don't tell anyone about this scene. Even Mu Ningxie herself was taken aback. She knew that her husband's battleship had evolved very powerfully. But I never expected it to be so fierce in reality. The energy shield of the alien creature that caused headaches for all the gods was like paper in front of her. One poke will break. It only took about 10 seconds. She shot down more than 20 of the other party's more than 100 alien airships. And those aliens aren't stupid either. Seeing that Mu Ningxue's attack is so powerful, they all began to turn around and focus on her obviously different ship, just like the phantom of a real destroyer. Even more than half of the thousands of smart drones are divided. Directly launched a siege towards her destroyer at the top. And facing these drones loaded with laser weapons. The destroyers of Mu Ningxie and Li Changxi, as well as the close-in defense guns of those frigates also began to emit flames. Crazy strafing towards the rapidly approaching intelligent drone swarms. Boom boom boom. Pieces of drones were blown up. However, a large part of Renju continued to emit lasers, and started an intensive and rapid attack on the battleship group. Several phantom gunboats with low blood volume were quickly blown up and exploded. Even the favored person on it was vaporized and disappeared by the terrifying energy explosion. Although Mu Ningxie suffered a large number of drone attacks. But when their lasers hit her destroyer Phantom, they could only leave a little scorched black. This is a manifestation of the high defense of the battleship. Although the attacks of those drones are intensive. But the damage done to her destroyer Phantom is like scratching an itch, not threatening at all. On the contrary, it took another 10 seconds. The opponent's alien airship that originally had more than 70 ships was only left with a dozen or so. 95% of them were blasted by Mu Ningxie one by one. Faced with this gap like a natural moat, the commander of the alien airship was stunned. For the first time in my life, I felt fear of a human being. After the evacuation order was issued in a crackling in the communication. Those more than 20 alien airships don't even need those valuable intelligent drone groups. Turning the direction, the tail sprayed the flamehead and wanted to leave here. But how could Mu Ningxie agree? With a thought, he controlled the destroyer and rushed out. Li Changxi didn't stop her when she saw her. Take Mu Ningxue's naval gun damage. It's nothing more than 10 seconds. And it is true. A total of 5 miles did not chase out. All the remaining escaped alien airships were blasted into fireballs by her. Explodes in the air and disintegrates. The whole battle came and ended soon. Li Changxi looked at her watch. Not even 3 minutes. Ask for flowers. This made her almost think that she had misread the time. But after watching it a few more times, still less than 3 minutes. This made the expression on her face gradually soften from shock. She looked at the beautiful and slim figure standing on the battleship. The corner of the mouth raised a smile unconsciously, but there were tears flowing in the eyes. After 3 years of dark and painful struggle, at this moment, she finally saw the hope of ending all this. Win. We won. Ha ha ha. It turns out that those extraterrestrial bastards are also afraid. Have you seen it? I know that woman. She was our neighbor before. She is Qin Tian's wife in World of Warships, surnamed Mu. Wow. It turns out that she is God Qin's wife. God Qin is mighty. Goddess Mu is domineering. My Yanlong's revival is hopeful. You said that in a month or two, the alien miscellaneous starships will come. Can they withstand the 2 rounds of attacks from Goddess Mu? 2 rounds. You underestimate the speed of God Qin's evolution. Just 1 round of shelling will fix it, no more. Ha ha ha, it's true, but Goddess Mu is really domineering. Those aliens can't run away if they want to. Just chase and beat them, and don't leave a single one behind. Otherwise, how could she become God Qin's wife? Don't talk about it, just call 666. When Mu Ningxie returned from standing on the huge destroyer, enthusiastic cheers erupted in the entire Zhongzhou city. Looking at the dignified and beautiful face like a goddess descending from the 9 heavens. Countless people all showed piety and fanaticism. And in World of Warships, he didn't know that his wife showed great power and beat Qin Tian, who was an alien creature. Under the effect of strengthening sleep in the big bed, I fell into a deep sleep unconsciously with my inner worries. The next day, Qin Tian, who had something on his mind, woke up early in the morning. The first thing he did when he opened his eyes was to hastily open the national chat channel. I want to see if there is any news about my wife. Let alone the result. After looking at it like this, he really saw some useful news. Brothers, the fight is over. I just got the inside information. Although some cities have been attacked and destroyed, but our empire has successfully resisted the attack of aliens this time. Really, this alien attack only lasted for one night. I heard that it seems that an alien airship team of 100 people who broke through the first line of defense of the empire was wiped out in less than a minute in Zhongzhou City. 4. 30%. Chapter 151 Major Muningshe. Zhongzhou. 3 minutes. See this message. Qin Tian immediately continued to look down. Damn it. Is it true or not? Although due to the suppression of the will of the planet, only airships can enter the atmosphere for aliens, but 100 airships are also very powerful, and the quality of our empire's chosen ones has been improved. Has it reached such a high level? Hey, wake up, what are you thinking? I heard that it was all because of a goddess favored by someone who showed great power, shot an alien airship, and ended the battle in less than 3 minutes. DUF. See this message. Many gods chosen from the Yanlong Empire all gasped. When did their empire produce such a fierce man? And it's a woman. Then follow. Some quick-witted people suddenly thought of Qin Tian's avatar in their minds. 243. Eyes widened unconsciously for an instant. Gone. That woman can't be the favored one bound by God Qin, right? The more I think about it, the more likely it is. Someone who couldn't hold back it sent the message asked. Dong Wei at Zhongxing Wei. Brother, where did you get the news? I've never heard of such a god-fated person in Zhongzhou City before. Zhongxing Wei at Dong Wei. Don't worry, the news is absolutely true. My brother said that the goddess should be God Qin's wife, because many people mentioned God Qin's dispute at the time. Qin Tian saw this. A happy smile suddenly appeared on his face. Really? From this point of view, Muningshe adapted to her own strength quite quickly. Then I just need to work harder to upgrade. Just let your warship upgrade to Battleship as soon as possible. In a good mood, he got up and took 500 bottles of water and traded them to Zhang Zongjun. Directly exchanged 50,000 inferior plastics. Haha, you kid is so calm, you can't guess your wife's behavior after reading the chat message in the morning, right? Transaction complete. Zhang Zongjun sent him a message asking. Ha ha ha, of course I guessed it from the information. Qin Tian smiled and replied. He is not stupid. Haha, I have to say, you have a good eye, your wife is quite special, she was not even afraid of fighting an alien airship for the first time, and she even scared the last remaining 20 or so airships. They retreated directly, but in the end, your wife is also very powerful, and directly chased after the group of more than 20 alien airships and wiped it out. Qin Tian couldn't help laughing when he saw this message. Very good, I admire her for this, at least she won't suffer if she goes out. Zhang Zongjun was taken aback when he saw this. Then he said helplessly and sent a message. Are you still worried about your daughter-in-law? With your reputation of sinking the little devil Yamato before, and the strength your daughter-in-law showed yesterday, I heard that the higher-ups seem to be planning to give her the false title of Major first, and you hear if the evolution rate is maintained, there will be a few more high-intensity battles. I feel that your daughter-in-law will become a powerful Major General in a short time. Real Major General. Hear this rank. Qin Tian thinks this is totally possible. He doesn't care about these things in World of Warships, upgrading battleships is better than anything else. But in this world, in the present era, if Muningshe can control some of the real power of the Empire, it will definitely be of great use. Now is the time when the Empire is in peril. Most of those in power are old and infirm. And the new generation doesn't have many amazing talents. At this time, Muningshe only needs to perform outstandingly and make great contributions. Not only will the older generation in the military not suppress her. Instead, it pushes her up. This is called heroes in troubled times. And I only need to upgrade the battleship in the World of Warships to be strong enough. I am not afraid that those civil servants dare to plot against their wives. In the face of absolute power, all conspiracies and tricks are dust. That is to say, now I can't contact my wife alone. Otherwise, you will have to teach her by ear. After all, it is better to put your own destiny in the hands of others. Why not take the chance and make yourself one of those who set the rules? After finishing chatting with Zhang Zongjun, Qin Tian came to the kitchen. There is no figure of Yu Hai in it. The octopus broth was still steaming in the pot. Qin Tian didn't need to think about it to know that the other party probably went to the planting room to toss the rice. He himself filled a bowl of broth from the pot and ate it warmly. Stepped to the planting room. I saw the figure of Yu Hai tossing the bag of seeds inside. Perhaps they heard Qin Tian's footsteps. Yu Dai turned his head to look at the door. After seeing Qin Tian, he immediately wanted to stop what he was doing and say hello. Qin Tian directly waved his hand at him and said, "You are busy with your work, I just stopped by to have a look, don't bother." After hearing this, Yu Dai continued to work, and then said, "I left you octopus broth in the captain's kitchen." Qin Tian nodded and said, "Well, I've had a drink and I was just about to go up, so I stopped by to see if you're busy here." Yu Dai smiled and said, "Captain, you have done a great job in this planting room. The rice seeds have been cultivated in just one night. I can tidy them up a little and they can be transplanted today." Quote. Qin Tian was also a little surprised when he heard it. Isn't this land only planted to shorten the time? How can this be reduced without planting? Confused, he subconsciously looked up at the artificial sun. Then there was a flash of inspiration. He used divine detective technique to scan at the artificial sun. Item. Artificial sun. Quality. Orange. Efficacy. The absolute core of the large-scale planting ecological cabin, which can carry out an appropriate amount of photosynthesis for organisms. During the light period, the growth rate of all organisms will increase by an additional 20%, and it will assist the planting room to adjust the appropriate room temperature to the greatest extent. Really, after seeing the effect of the artificial sun, Qin Tian took a deep breath immediately. The artificial sun can actually increase the growth rate of crops by an additional 20%. Let's put it that way. The crops grown in this grow room have had a 601.6% reduction in time. This was a pleasant surprise. With a thought, he then used divine detective technique to investigate the moss covering the walls. Item. Organic moss. Quality. Orange. Efficacy. The magical plants unique to large-scale planting ecological cabins have the effect of absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen, and can assist planting and regulate the ecological environment to the greatest extent. 1. Seeing that this had no effect on reducing time, Qin Tian was a little disappointed. But although he doesn't know much about farming, he also knows how important oxygen is to rice, so it's only for a moment. He put all these disappointments behind him. That's fine, then I'm busy with you, I'll go up and have a look. After seeing that there was no problem, Qin Tian greeted Yu Dai and went up to the deck. 1. 30%. Chapter 152 Hitting the World Boss. Come on deck. The sky outside was still gray. However, under careful observation, Qin Tian still saw a brighter light from the sky than yesterday. From this point, he can judge that the extremely cold weather will recede within a day or two. Get back, Qin Tian murmured secretly in his heart. In all climates, the extremely cold climate is the most likely to make people unable to do anything all day long. I can only wrap myself into a zongzi and nest next to the stove to survive. The climate he hated the most in his last life was the extremely cold climate. Go to the control room and show your face. After asking a few words casually, Qin Tian came out of the control room and walked around the battleship. When it comes to the tail, after seeing the empty helicopter deck, Qin Tian sighed helplessly. Whether it is a drawing or a complete helicopter, both of these items are absolute ultra-rare items in World of Warships. Not to mention the 3 years he watched the Time and Space live broadcast. Even in the next 3 years that he experienced in his last life. God's chosen who can own a helicopter are very rare, very few. Maybe it also has something to do with no one upgrading warships to aircraft carriers. Last life until he was sunk. No one in World of Warships has ever upgraded an aircraft carrier. 11. If in this life, under his leadership, all the chosen ones will be accelerated to evolve. When the aircraft carrier is out, maybe the will of the planet will increase the explosion rate of the helicopter. Shook his head. Qin Tian didn't think about these anymore. Hold the rope hook and stand next to the battleship, open the plane map and prepare for barrel hooking. Achin, drive in the direction of 1 o'clock for me. Stood for a while. Finally, an icon of a material barrel appeared on the plane map in his mind. Qin Tian looked at the direction and immediately shouted in the direction of the control room at the top of his voice. Because it never closed, Yao Lang and Wei Chen heard everything clearly. Wei Chen turned the rudder according to the direction directed by Qin Tian. And then not for a while. Qin Tian hooked up a material barrel with a rope hook. This is also a method that Qin Tian has researched in the past 2 days. He pointed out to Wei Chen the approximate direction of the material barrels based on the plane map of supernatural detective technique. Then Wei Chen drove over. After seeing the wooden material barrel, he would control the distance so that Qin Tian could easily hook the material wooden barrel up with the rope hook. For the materials inside, the current Qin Tian doesn't care too much. The key is the crude oil inside. Recently, I haven't encountered a gold material treasure chest. The crude oil for his battleship is extracted bit by bit from these material barrels. Time flies. The days were spent in this kind of dullness for 2 days. Morning of the 3rd day. Because of a sweet dream. So Qin Tian didn't wake up until 8:30. In the studio, a group of people looked at Qin Tian, who was still sleeping soundly with a wretched smile on his face. They couldn't help but started sending messages to tease them. Is Qin Shen dreaming about his wife? Isn't this smile too funny? Ha ha ha, it's normal to be young at a young age, and I haven't seen God Qin having an affair with any goddess chooser in World of Warships for so long, so it's justifiable to have a dream. I really envy that woman who can become God Qin's wife. Not only does she have such powerful power, but God Qin treats her like this. No matter how lively the chat channel is. But Qin Tian was still dreaming of having a sweet dream with Mu Ningxie. When I was about to make a final kick. Bang bang bang. Suddenly, the door of the room was knocked hard. This moment awakened Qin Tian from his dream. After hearing the anxious shouting of Yu Hai outside, Qin Tian couldn't care less about being depressed. He got up and quickly opened the door of the room. What's the matter, old Yu? What happened? Qin Tian asked curiously. Captain, go and have a look, it's so big. What a big monster. Yu Dai said after making an exaggerated gesture with his hand. Qin Tian frowned upon hearing this. Monster, god horse thing. Could it be a king-level elite sea beast? Qin Tian put on his clothes. Lift your feet and walk outside. But not a few steps. The sound of naval guns began to ring one after another. This made Qin Tian's expression change. Quickly ran to the deck. Followed by the sea. Go up to the deck. At this time, the sky outside is no longer as gray as it was a few days ago. Apparently the extreme cold is over. The entire sky was once again cloudless and clear. Captain, that's right there, look. At this time, Yu Dai pointed to the sea on his right and shouted. There was an obvious tremor in the voice. Qin Tian immediately looked in the direction of Yu Hai's finger. Then the pupils in his eyes suddenly shrank violently. His fists were also clenched subconsciously. It was only a few kilometers away from them. A huge monster octopus is waving its Tongtian tentacles and constantly whipping on the surface of the sea. The speed is not too fast to swim towards them. Several times, the tentacles were within tens of meters of their battleships. This made Qin Tian couldn't help scolding his mother in his heart. What kind of fairy luck is this? He actually ran into a world boss. Judging by this size, it is estimated that at least a few million blood. Although his battleship has been strengthened very powerfully. But face this kind of world boss alone. That would be no different than suicide. Ding! Congratulations to Qin Tian, the chosen one of the Yanlong Empire, for discovering the trace of the ocean boss Nigist, and a special reward for a blue material treasure chest. But at this moment, the grand voice of the will of the planet suddenly sounded. 5 minutes later, the challenge of ocean boss Nigist will start. Please enter the portal to face the chosen ones. The battle time is 15 minutes. Friendly reminder, during the event period, it is forbidden for the chosen ones to attack each other, and at the same time, pay attention to avoid the attack of the ocean boss Nigist 457 special. If the ship is destroyed, or the blood volume is cleared, the chosen ones will follow death. This time, the top 3 god chosen who have the most damage to ocean boss Nigist will receive rich rewards, and the first place will be awarded the unique title of Conqueror of the Ocean. All god chosen are ready to fight. With the voice of the planet's will, it fell. The world boss, who was so violent just now, became quiet in an instant. Qin Tian could clearly feel that the sea area around himself and the ocean boss Nigist had been cut by something. Suddenly it became a little illusory and unreal. But at this moment, the entire world of warships has already boiled instantly. Oh my god, there is actually a world boss. Fake, why is it this Qin Tian again? Is this Yanlong man with a fine physique? Why does it feel like every voice prompt of the will of the planet is related to him? Oh, Xiete, don't tell me the one upstairs, it's really possible. This kind of physique seems to be called the protagonist's halo in the novel. HMPH. Fart. Just him. Give back the aura of the protagonist. I will let him know what a real protagonist is. I have decided on this unique title by Reese Duke. Crap. It turned out to be Boss Reese. Boss Reese is awesome. That's it. You must give that damned Yanlong a little bit of color. Haha. Qin Tian, you are finished. You were lucky in the Novice Sea area, so you got that unique title, but in this real world of warships, you will not be so lucky. 30%. Chapter 153 The Ocean Boss Challenge begins. Looking at the foreign devils in the World Chat channel, it seems that they have been injected with chicken blood. Qin Tian snorted with disdain in his eyes. Of course Reese Duke knew. Same as the Lauder family. The Duke family is also one of the super families of the Lighthouse Empire. Although Reese Duke is not a direct descendant of the Duke family, in the Duke family, as a collateral heir, he can enjoy the same treatment as direct brothers and sisters. Just from this point on, it can be seen how unusual this Reese Duke's mind and methods are. This guy, who is called by many Lighthouse people as the #1 chosen one of the Lighthouse, is the fourth batch of chosen ones to enter the world of warships. At the beginning of the game, the SS-level talent Pursuit of Victory was awakened. Qin Tian had also learned about this innate skill. It is to increase the damage of oneself by 20% when using it, and at the same time restore 10% of blood every time an enemy is destroyed, and increase the damage by 10% again, and the duration is 5 minutes. If the battleship level is high enough and the damage is strong enough, this is definitely a magical skill. Similarly, if the damage of the battleship is so high that even one enemy cannot be killed after 5 minutes of fighting, then the power of this talent skill will be greatly reduced. It's just that since Reese Duke can be called the first choice of the Lighthouse, it can be seen that the strength of the opponent is definitely not that of the second type. So although Qin Tian has confidence in his battleship, but I dare not take it lightly. Captain, how did that monster suddenly stop moving? And at this moment, Yu Dai's sudden sound interrupted Qin Tian's thinking. Qin Tian came back to his senses, looked at the ocean boss in the distance and said, "Come on, let's go into the control room." Finished. He was the first to come to the control room. Captain, Uncle Yu. He saw Qin Tian walking in with Yu Hai. Yao Lang greeted Wei Chen immediately. Well, Alang, Chen, get ready, we will compete with tens of millions of people at the same time to see who can cause the most damage to that octopus boss. I'll go to the cabin to replenish all the ammunition. After Qin Tian explained, he hurried down to the cabin. Ammunition was resupplied to each ammunition bay. Especially the Genesis-class dual 57mm naval gun. Qin Tian even consumed high-grade 57 armor-piercing bullets in the legendary automatic loader. Only when he came up from the cabin. But I heard a noisy noise all around. I'll go. Why is this octopus boss so big? Those tentacles must be several thousand meters long. Fact, with such a long tentacle, this guy won't be out of the range of the gunboat, right? If so, how can we fight? Hey, I don't plan to go up to fight anymore. With so many warships, even if you go all the way to shoot a few shots, you will get a participation award. It's not worth it to risk your life for those hundreds of units of supplies. Hey, look at me, I didn't intend to participate at all. This time I came here to see if Boss Reese can beat that Yanlong man. That must be no problem. Boss Reese is a battleship, and he is also an extremely powerful first-tier god chosen in battleships. He is better than Qin Tian, who has just been promoted to destroyer. I advise you not to think that Qin Tian is so simple. The opponent used his destroyer to sink the battleship Yamato of Yusuke Kawashima of the Sakura Empire. It can be seen how high its attack power is. Listen to these noisy words. Qin Tian looked around. What came into view was a large group of densely packed warships. There are too many to count. This time is not like in the Novice Sea. There are only a few gunboats among the tens of thousands of warships. The three of Nangong and Le could recognize him at a glance. In this activity area of World of Warships, millions of battleships. There are more than 10 or 20 battleships alone. Thousands of cruisers. As for his destroyer, there are tens of thousands if not hundreds of thousands. Nangong Le and the others wanted to find him in this vast sea of ships. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. And it was too late. Qin Tian just returned to the control room. I heard the grand voice of the planets will suddenly sounded. Ocean Boss Nigist's challenge will start in 3 seconds, please prepare for the battle. 3, 2, 1. Challenge begins. With the voice of the planet's will, it fell. Seeing that the super giant ocean boss Nigist, who was still quiet just now, seemed to be asleep, roared and went crazy first. Thousands of meters of tentacles waved up and down, wanton flapping. Every slap can make hundreds of warships in this range cry. The gunboat with weaker defense was attacked 3 times in a row. It exploded into several fireballs directly. There was no room for struggle and it was gone. Those gods chosen nearby were even more ashen-faced. They all controlled the battleships and ran desperately to the distance. Boom, boom, boom. Certainly, the chosen one is not vegetarian either. At the end of the countdown, Nigist rioted at the moment. The chosen one in the distance also controlled the battleship and launched a fierce attack. Countless naval guns, rockets, and anti-ship missiles flooded the ocean boss Nigist like a tide. Large areas of scarlet damage value are connected together. I don't even know who played how many. And here, although the large caliber main guns and auxiliary guns of more than 20 battleships fired very well, almost every shot hits the target 100% of the time. But their master was impatient, because the rate of fire of those large caliber naval guns is too slow. At most 2 or 3 shells can be fired in a minute. Can this rate of fire not make them anxious? Captain, shall we attack? Seeing other people's warships start to attack. Immediately, Yao Lang was eager to try Li Nuo's and turned to Qin Tian and asked. Attack, hit me hard with full firepower. Qin Tian issued the order directly. The first place is rewarded with a unique title. How could he let it go for nothing? Clear, received Qin Tian's order. Yao Lang instantly pressed the fire control start button with enthusiasm. All naval guns started too high for the first time and turned. This moment, Qin Tian's destroyer is like a mighty lion waking up from a deep sleep. Boom, 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 played its own roar. Naval guns, rockets, and anti-ship missiles were all fired. It's just that there is no damage value displayed at all in the piles of damage full of red. Qin Tian is not in a hurry either. But as soon as he used his mind, he used the divine detective technique to look at the ocean boss Nigist. Name, Nikost. Health volume, 2.79 million, 3 million. 30%. Chapter 154 Reese Dukes Iowa Battleship. Only 3 million blood. After seeing the total blood volume of the boss in this world, Qin Tian frowned slightly immediately, feeling a little anxious in his heart. In just one face-to-face, 1/3 of his blood had already been knocked out. Doesn't that mean that within a few minutes, the boss might die? You know, the longer the time for his small and medium caliber naval gun, the more damage it will cause. Not like those battleships. A few main guns and a dozen secondary guns will cause high explosive damage in one round. One round of bombardment is tens of thousands of blood. The rate of fire is slightly faster, and the weapon quality is higher. In a minute, maybe 30,000 to 50,000 blood can be shot. Now he can only pin his hopes on that creation class artillery. That creation level double 57 main gun. One shot can hit 500 or 600 blood. One round of double-barreled salvo is 1001 or 200 blood. According to its effective rate of fire of 95 rounds per minute. In 1 minute, the insurance can produce almost 40,000 to 50,000 blood. Plus the damage of other naval guns, anti-ship missiles and rocket launchers. As long as the boss can hold out for a minute or two, then there should be no problem in winning the championship. Under the operation of Yao Lang's full firepower, several naval guns continued to roar one after another. The 16 anti-ship missiles and rockets all over the sky also drew a lot of white smoke from time to time. Then 097 bombarded the ocean boss Nigist tens of thousands of meters away. Such ferocious firepower naturally attracted the attention of countless gods chosen people around. But Qin Tian was on the bridge in the control room. They also couldn't recognize whose destroyer it was. I can only feel how fierce this destroyer is. I don't know which is the car of the upcoming boss. In World of Warships, upgrading to a destroyer is a powerhouse at the top. Upgrade to cruisers and battleships. That's a big boss. On the bridge in the control room, Qin Tian watched the blood of the boss continuously drop at a speed visible to the naked eye. It fell to more than 1 million in less than a minute. This made him very speechless. This man is as powerful as he is. This is the situation where most of the gunboats did not dare to move forward to attack. But even this cut the blood of the boss like this. Dee. And at this moment, a private chat reminder sounded in his mind. Qin Tian opened it and took a look. It turned out to be a cold message. Good boy, I saw your battleship. Come on, we must grab this title. See the content of the message sent by the other party. Qin Tian raised his BBFE eyes through the window and looked around. As a result, the densely packed warships all looked about the same. There are 20 or 30 cruisers. There are also 3 or 5 battle cruisers. This made him unable to recognize where the cold Phylong was. The reason why the other party can recognize himself. I'm afraid it's also because the destroyer's firepower is relatively fierce. The reason why it stands out from the crowd. Shook his head. Look back, Qin Tian replied to the other party. Brother Leng, don't pressure me, this boss loses blood too quickly, and I'm not sure that I can deal more damage than battleships in a short period of time. What quality? And Leng Lai quickly returned the message to him. The content made Qin Tian's eyes light up first, followed by a deep frown. Reese Duke's Iowa battleship. I don't know much about the others, but I know that he unpacked a legendary main gun from the box last month. His previous main gun was 5 epic battleships, level and a legendary 406mm caliber triple-mounted naval gun, and now there is another legendary 406mm naval gun. The damage must be greatly increased. As far as I know, the guns are all dual-mounted 127mm naval guns of no less than blue quality. See this content. Qin Tian had some understanding in his heart. No wonder the other party was full of confidence before, claiming that the first place must be his this time. This armed force is indeed a bit over the top. 7 406mm high-quality triple-mounted main guns, and at least 12 dual-mounted 127mm secondary guns of equally unusual quality. In the case that almost all shells of this kind can hit. Even if only one round of attacks can be played in a minute. The minimum damage must be more than 30,000. Even if only a small part of the naval guns can fire 2 shells in 1 minute. It is also possible to deal 50,000 damage per minute. I knock. So to say, the opponent's damage is really capable of equaling him. If you hit a few more crits, it is not impossible to surpass him. Think here. Qin Tian's heart couldn't help but lift up. Roar. However, at this time, the octopus boss Nigist, who was 10,000 meters away, suddenly let out a deep sound. Then mutations happen. I saw the opponent's 8 tentacles covered with huge suction cups suddenly tied up his body like twisting twists. Qin Tian was puzzled by this scene. After subconsciously checking the opponent's blood volume, only then did he realize that the opponent's blood volume had just dropped below 1 million. Look at this posture. Wouldn't this mean that the opponent is preparing to magnify his move? He just wanted Wei Chen to pay attention, but if it didn't work, he stepped back a bit. As a result, it was too late and then too fast. I saw that the 8 tentacles of the boss Nigist suddenly and quickly spun like twisted rubber. I saw within a radius of several kilometers with it as the center. The heads of all the battleships suddenly floated up, reducing the high damage by hundreds of dollars. Numerous small and medium-sized gunboats had their HP cleared. In the desperate and unwilling roar of the God Chosen, it exploded into countless fireballs and gradually sank. And that's not all. After destroying countless gunboats, Boss Nigist's blood volume rose from less than 1 million to more than 1.8 million in an instant. Moreover, its 8 tentacles surrounded its body in the middle like blooming petals. At this moment, the countless suckers suddenly released a terrifying suction force. The countless missiles and artillery shells that bombarded its body were just absorbed by the suction cups on its tentacles. Then it flicked its tentacles. Those missile shells bombarded all the warships 10,000 meters away like a goddess scattered flowers. Gah, fack, I even bought karma. Facing such an eye-popping scene, all the chosen ones, including Qin Tian, uttered the classic national curses of their respective countries. Then their warships, which were 10,000 meters away, experienced a round of gunfire from an unknown warship. Most of the lucky ones were bombarded by those ordinary frigate missiles and shells. Blood loss is not serious. Poor luck. Greeted by Reese Duke's large-caliber battleship shells that can easily damage thousands. The blood volume of the battleship was directly cleared by 1/3. But fortunately, the opponent's big move is not a concentrated fire, but a scattered attack. In this wave, not many warships were cleared of HP, and the ships were destroyed. It's just that the gods chosen with residual blood on the battleship is not waiting to be happy. I saw that the tentacle of the boss Nigist actually bent again to surround the body. It emits a terrifying absorption force to attract countless shells and missiles. 31%. Chapter 155. Qin Tian is number 1. The Eurasian Federation is questioned. See this scene. The faces of those gods chosen who had little HP remaining on their battleships turned pale instantly. No, do not want. Bosses, please stop shooting. Stop, big boys, please stop firing. World in the chat channel. The chosen ones of countless large gunboats and small frigates sent out the most humble requests in despair. But it's useless at all. In order to fight for the ownership of the only title, how could those powerful God-chosen give up such a great opportunity for the sake of insignificant people like them? So those powerful battleships are still launching fierce attacks without stopping. The same is true for Qin Tian. In fact, Qin Tian didn't read the information in the world chat channel at all. At this time, he had already focused all his attention on this boss battle. When estimating which naval gun or missile launcher is about to be empty, he'd immediately go below decks to resupply those ammunition bays. After knowing the general artillery configuration of the battleship Duke, Qin Tian is even more Alexander. Now it counts as a little more attack power. And with the second wave of scattering released by Boss Nigist, several medium-sized gunboats exploded directly around Qin Tian. Slowly began to sink. And then just when those lucky gunboat chosen and small frigate chosen wanted to thank God, they found out in despair. In the distance, the tentacles of the ocean boss Nigist unexpectedly bent for the third time. Fake, you bastards, why can't you stop attacking? You greedy and selfish executioners, I curse you to die. Please don't attack anymore. My battleship will be upgraded to a frigate soon, I don't want to die. Please. World in the chat channel. The chosen ones whose battleships had bottomed out completely collapsed. Some of them began to yell and curse on it as if venting. Some still begged with the last sliver of luck. However, what greeted them was the cold and merciless hail of bullets from the boss Nigist. This time more gunboats and frigates exploded around the Qin Tian destroyer. But Qin Tian just glanced lightly and stopped paying attention. This is the way the world is. Your weakness is the original sin. This kind of law is magnified countless times in this world of battleships. After the ocean boss Nigist released this round of big moves, the means of attack became monotonous and powerless again. Obviously, the big move has entered the cooling time. How could those chosen by God miss this situation? They began to attack more frantically. In the end, there was another wave of boss's big move. After another group of weak gods chosen died, this ocean boss Nigist discovered by Qin Tian. After all, it is not as good luck as the Sea King boss Glasgow in the Novice Sea territory. He was directly beaten to death by countless god chosen for 5 minutes. Roar, with a dull growl full of despair and unwillingness. The 8 towering tentacles of ocean boss Nikost finally fell powerlessly to the surface of the sea. With the death of boss, Qin Tian only felt a blur in front of his eyes. Wait until you regain consciousness. He saw that there was only one destroyer sailing alone in this sea area. Even the corpse of the boss is gone. This made Qin Tian sigh with regret. That is the body of the world boss. And it's so big. If its corpse can be collected, I don't know how much you can harvest from king-level meat and top-quality sea beast teeth. It can only be said that the will of the planet is too stupid. After beating the boss, he didn't send the boss's body back to himself. This challenge to ocean boss Nigist has ended. Congratulations to Duke, the chosen one of the Beacon Empire, for giving the final blow to the boss, and a special reward for killing a treasure chest. Congratulations to every chosen one who survived. You will receive a corresponding level of challenge gift pack. The top 3 god chosen who have caused the most damage to ocean boss Nigist this time will receive generous rewards. Please pay attention to check. With the voice of the planet's will, it fell. A virtual panel suddenly appeared in front of the eyes of all the chosen ones in the Novice Sea territory. The above is the ranking of this challenge to ocean boss Nigist. I saw Qin Tian's profile picture impressively in the middle. On the lower left is Duke's portrait. On the lower right is the head portrait of a woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. Qin Tian recognized it at a glance. That woman was Cecily Adams, the second best candidate of the Beacon Empire who applied to be his friend before. Ask for flowers. And as soon as this ranking interface comes out, whether it is the chosen one or the viewer in the live broadcast room, countless Gentiles immediately began to protest. It's not fair, there must be something dark about it, how could I be the second? World of Warships. Duke, who was on the battleship Iowa, looked at the panel in front of him and roared unwillingly. The will of the world, I don't believe it, I want to disclose the damage data. I am a powerful god's chosen who has been here for 2 years and has upgraded the Raft into a battleship. How could even a newcomer god's chosen who has only been in for less than 2 months can't compare? How can you make us believe in your authority in the future? although he got the precious reward of the last blow. But what he wanted more was that unique title. That's not just about honor. Point 0. It also represents his dignity. No way. Who made him boast at the beginning that the first place must be his? And not just him. Countless candidates from the Eurasian Federation voiced their doubts in the World Chat channel, including in the live broadcast room. What does the will of the world mean? It's not because he appreciates this Yanlong man that he purposely turned black and white, right? Fake. How long has it been since Qin Tian entered the world of warships? Even if I admit his excellence, Mr. Reese is the #1 person in our lighthouse. How can the nearly 20 cannons on the USS Iowa be inferior to him? He Yanlong is a destroyer. We need to see the damage results. We need to make the data public and transparent. For a while, whether in World of Warships or in this world, the voices questioning the planet's will to favor Qin Tian are getting louder and louder. And faced with this situation, the will of the planet is also very straightforward. Not many seconds passed. A new list appeared before the eyes of each god chosen. It is the data list of the top 10 injuries. Qin Tian ranked first. The damage value is 267,351. Reese Duke ranked second. The damage value is 265,107. As for Cecily Adams, who ranked third behind, the damage value is more than 259,000. And at this moment, the grand voice of the planets will suddenly resounded throughout the entire world of warships. As the orderer and guardian of the world's rules, I have no ability and cannot influence the chosen one, so your doubts do not exist. 7. 31%. Chapter 156. A must-have title for boss fighting. After saying that sentence, the voice of the will of the planet continued to sound. It's just that under your strong intentions, I got a short time to intervene. Below, you will see the details of this challenge. With the voice of the planet's will, it fell. Then a virtual interface with 2 screens appeared in front of all the chosen ones. It is the performance of Qin Tian and Reese Duke in the event. At the same time, you can also see the health status of the ocean boss Nigist. Everything was fine at first, although Reese Duke's attack damage is very explosive every round. But the damage of Qin Tian's dual 57mm naval guns was ridiculously high. No matter how terrible damage Reese Duke hit, but a minute later, it can always be recovered by this dual 57mm naval gun plus other weapons, or even surpassed. The real anti-043 turn is at the end. At that time, the boss had already become blood. And Qin Tian had just played a full minute of attacks. The damage is just a few thousand points higher than Reese Duke. But at the moment Reese Duke's Iowa battleship guns are still cooling down. Wait for him to cool down. The blood volume of the boss is almost empty. Although his Iowa fired immediately. But only 2 main guns went down. The blood volume of Ocean Boss Nigist was immediately reset to 0. So although he got the kill reward, however, the 5 main gun shells and more than a dozen secondary gun shells that were fired later did not cause any damage. It can only be said that he was unlucky. Otherwise, even if it is only 5 seconds earlier, the cooling will be completed. More than half of his naval guns can do actual damage. At that time, the damage value would directly be 20,000 to 30,000 higher than Qin Tian's. See here, all the Gentile devils shut up. There is nothing else to blame. To blame can only be blamed on Reese Duke's bad luck. It would be nice to get a kill reward at the end. And Reese Duke was speechless after seeing these details. Angrily, he hammered his fist on the hull of the battleship bitterly. There is no one else who is so lucky. He immediately at Qin Tian in the World Chat channel. Reese Duke at Qin Tian. Kid, you were lucky this time, but next time, you won't have such good luck. After Qin Tian saw this sentence, he replied with disdain. Qin Tian at Reese Duke. Let's wait and see. Wait for him to upgrade the battleship to a cruiser after a while. Large caliber naval guns are not without it. Just when everyone thought it was over, the will of the planet spoke again. Because of my intervention this time, it is very likely that it will have a negative impact on the future development of World of Warships. It is very likely that climate changes will become more frequent and the living conditions will be worse. Gods chosen, please be prepared. Finished. The will of the planet is completely silent. But World of Warships exploded in an instant. FK, the Federal Devils are your masters, now you are satisfied. Gone, why do you have to question the will of the planet? People are in charge of this, so they don't know how to be fairer than you. Now it's all right. It will be like the novice sea territory, with extreme weather for 3 weeks every month, everyone they all play layers. Fake. Why is the will of this planet like this? Even if you know that intervening will cause such bad consequences, you still intervene. Isn't that harmful? Hee hee, I'm so f-king laughing. Didn't you foreign devils just ask the will of the planet to give you justice? Shiete. That's just our casual complaint, it's not true. Hey, I'm really speechless. When World of Warships is run by your lighthouse, you can parade if you want to, protest if you want to protest. I'm happy now. When the time comes for 3 weeks of extreme weather in a month, everyone will wait together die. Fuck. See this sentence. The intestines of countless gods chosen from the Eurasian Federation are green with regret. Speaking of which, Reese Duke's first place has something to do with them. People will not give them a coin if they are good. But now this climate impact will actually be linked to their lives. It's good now. People with strength are not afraid of these extreme weather at all. But they are most worried about the arrival of extreme weather. One thought here. Some people can't help feeling resentment towards Reese Duke. But because of the live broadcast room, they didn't dare to scold them. But these didn't have much influence on Qin Tian. Anyway, he has all the water purifier, stove and refrigerator. No matter what, he couldn't be hungry, thirsty, or cold. So he has nothing to worry about. What he is more curious about now is what kind of attribute blessing will the title Ocean Expeditionary bring to him. With a thought, he opened his own property panel. Then find the name option and click in. The first thing that caught his eye was the title of Shinhai Overlord he had obtained. The purple light is bright. It looks noble and luxurious. After that is the title of Ocean Expeditionary he won this time. The entire title is blue. On the writing is a warship sailing on the rough sea. The water waves are monstrous, but that battle is all in peace. But at this moment, the entire title is still in a dim state of inactivation. Qin Tian looked at the attributes of the title. Ocean Expeditionist Unique, Attack plus 100, Blood Volume plus 1000, Defense plus 10d, can increase 5% extra damage to boss after wearing it. Excitable exchange. See here, Qin Tian immediately chose to activate without saying a word. I knock. This title is specially prepared for fighting boss. With his current attack of almost 5,000. An increase of 5% means that each round of attack can almost deal more than 250 points of extra damage. Although it looks a bit small. But you must know that his attack will gradually increase with the upgrade. At that time, for activities such as attacking the world boss, it will definitely be beneficial and harmless. But if you want to play the special effects of fighting boss, you have to wear this title, and then you can't keep a low profile. And as Qin Tian activated the title, seeing that the title Ocean Conqueror suddenly became brighter, the minister also appeared radiant. Dee. And just like this, a private chat message sounded in his mind. Open it and see that it is a letter 2.1 message sent to him by Leng Lai. Haha, good boy, I knew you could do it. Qin Tian sighed helplessly and said. Brother Leng, you have also seen that it is pure luck that I won the first place this time. Said coldly and indifferently. What's wrong with luck? Luck is also a part of strength. Reese Duke was not even qualified to carry your shoes when he came to World of Warships for 2 months. Wait for you to grow up for another year. Hitting him is as easy as a father hitting his son. See Leng Lai's message. Qin Tian couldn't laugh or cry immediately. Okay, I won't bother you. Thanks to your blessing last time, the old guy Zhang Zongjun rewarded me with resources. In addition to the resources I have in hand, I have now upgraded the battleship to a medium-sized battlecruiser and opened it yesterday. Another epic deck modification blueprint was opened from the treasure chest, and now my strength has increased a lot. I am ready to continue to cause trouble for those foreign devils. 31%. Chapter 157 Air Conditioning System, Breeding Ecological Cabin. Seeing this, Qin Tian felt happy for the other side. On the one hand, it is also quite dumbfounding. Since the Tianji island guarded by the other party was captured. This guy seems to have passively awakened some amazing deterrent skills. It was unspeakable to torment the chosen one of the Lighthouse Empire when he was a small battlecruiser before. Now upgrade to medium. The strength has greatly increased. Coupled with the vigilance of the last escape. Now the generals of the Lighthouse Empire are afraid that they will have a headache and can't sleep. After sending back a "be careful" message to the other party, Qin Tian immediately walked out of the control room. It's time for an exciting time to open treasure chests again. He hasn't opened the golden treasure chest for a long time recently. Hope to be lucky this time. Come on deck. I saw that there were indeed 2 treasure chests, one blue and one gold, at the bow of the ship. Qin Tian first came to the blue treasure chest and grabbed the lid and opened it. Immediately there were 5 beeps. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 5,000 units of ordinary wood. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 5,000 units of ordinary flax. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 5,000 units of ordinary metal pieces. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 5,000 units of ordinary plastic. Congratulations to Captain 11 for obtaining 1,000 units of crude oil. See these supplies. Qin Tian nodded in satisfaction. Mainly 1,000 barrels of crude oil. This can support him for more than a week without worry. Then he came to the golden treasure chest again. After rubbing your hands, grab the lid and lift it off. In an instant, a series of notification tones sounded one after another. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the legendary double AK 130mm naval gun ×1. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the legendary universal autoloader ×1. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the epic level central air conditioning system blueprint ×1. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the blueprint of the epic large-scale breeding ecological cabin rare ×1. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 5,000 units of fine wood. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 5,000 units of fine flax. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 5,000 units of fine metal sheets. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 5,000 units of excellent plastics. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 1,000 barrels of crude oil. Look at the items out of this golden treasure chest. Qin Tian's eyes suddenly lit up. Oh, I finally Europe once again. Not to mention the orange quality dual AK 130mm naval guns. This naval gun, which once had a reputation as a pinnacle work, definitely has good damage. The most important ones are central air conditioning system blueprint and large-scale breeding ecological cabin blueprint. These 2 drawings are as the name suggests. Just look at the name and you'll know what it means. After installing the central air conditioner, whether extremely cold or extremely hot, he and the sailors on the battleship will no longer have to consider the issue of heat and cold. Even if it's 100 degrees outside, they can still live comfortably. And large breeding ecological cabin blueprint. After building this, get some chickens, ducks, cattle and sheep. Maybe in the future, cooking hot pot and kebabs on a battleship can become a common meal. Thinking of not having to eat monotonous grilled seafood and boiled fish soup in the future. From time to time, you can have a meal of shabu-shabu and kebabs. Qin Tian felt that the saliva in his mouth could not help but start to secrete crazily. Calm down. We'll talk about this later. Can't expect too much right now. After all, he never heard of such creatures as chickens, ducks, pigs, cattle, and sheep in World of Warships in his last life. Put away these 2 drawings first. Qin Tian then set his sights on the twin AK 130mm naval guns on the ground. Item. Double AK 130mm naval gun, high and flat. Quality. Orange. Ix. 305. Effective range. 30,000 meters. Effective shooting height. 20,000 meters. Durability. 5,000. Effective rate of fire. 70 rounds per minute. Requirement. Every 200 units of high-quality metal pieces consumed can be launched for 1 minute. Normal enhancement. Low-quality plastic 2000, low-quality metal sheet 2000, low-quality nail 2000, strengthening can increase attack by 20. High-quality goods enhancement. Ordinary plastic 3000, ordinary metal sheet 3000, ordinary nail 3000, strengthening can increase attack power by 60. Advanced reinforcement. Excellent plastic 3000, excellent metal sheet 3000, excellent nail 3000, reinforcement can increase attack by 110. See this properties panel. Is this still an option? Qin Tian immediately synthesized it facing the pile of ordinary metal pieces on the deck. After synthesizing 1,000 units of high-quality metal pieces with 2,000 units of common metal pieces, he directly chose Advanced Enhancement. After strengthening, just use this 130mm naval gun to replace that 100mm naval gun. Advanced Enhanced Double AK 130mm naval guns, both high and flat, require 3,000 fine plastics, 3,000 fine metal sheets, 3,000 fine nails. Do you want to strengthen them? Strengthen. Qin Tian nodded immediately, with a golden light flashing from the dual AK 130mm naval guns. Qin Tian immediately opened the panel of this naval gun again to check. After seeing that the attack value in the attack column changed to 415. A smile was raised at the corner of his mouth. Then he walked to the green quality Type 87 single-tube 100mm naval gun at the bow. Without further ado, he unloaded it. Then the orange quality dual AK 130mm naval gun was installed on it. After getting well, he opened his battleship property panel again. Sure enough, the attack attribute of the battleship is also a bit higher. M4998 5,148,300. It became the current 5277-5563. After solving the problem of naval guns, only then did Qin Tian take out the blueprint of the central air conditioning system. Ready to get this good thing out. Item: Epic Central Air Conditioning System Blueprint. Quality: purple. Type: heating and cooling type. Applicable area: 350 to 800 square meters. Production requirements: inferior metal sheet 3000, inferior nail 3000, inferior plastic 5000. Efficacy: it can be used to make a large-scale central air conditioning system, with its own solar charging board. Ordinary advancement: 5000 inferior metal sheets, 5000 inferior nails, 8000 inferior plastics, which can be advanced into an orange legendary central air conditioning system. High-quality goods advanced: ordinary metal sheet 5000, ordinary nails 5000, ordinary plastic 8000, can be advanced into a red mythical central air conditioning system. Advanced. 4000 high-quality metal sheets, 4000 high-quality nails, 6000 high-quality plastics, which can be advanced into a colorful central air conditioning system. See the advanced requirements on the drawing. Qin Tian immediately ran to Curry, the cabin below the deck. I started to synthesize materials with my head buried. The air conditioner had to be brought out. According to the words of the will of the planet, there is a high probability that extreme weather will occur frequently in the future. At that time, there will be such a big killer that can keep the indoor temperature constant. Then their lives will be much more comfortable. 31%. Chapter 158 Genesis Level Central Air Conditioner, Red Treasure Chest. At that time, it doesn't matter if it's extremely cold or hot outside. Jihan took his brothers to cook hot pot. The extreme heat invites everyone to drink beer. Okay, dreams are always needed. People without dreams. How is that different from a salted fish? While synthesizing materials. While instilling chicken soup for the soul to yourself. Wait until the wife and daughter come in. In the morning, give the mother and daughter a seafood soup stewed with the best squid meat. Shabu for lunch. Barbecue tonight. The more I think about it, the more I feel that life has a bright future. Noon. Yu Hai came over and asked Qin Tian to go to the restaurant to have a meal of grilled premium octopus. After eating, energized by his chicken soup for the soul, Qin Tian ran to the warehouse to continue the synthesis. Unknowingly, it merged into the evening. Anyway, the advancement of supernatural detective technique requires excellent materials. Now that he has time, he will go out and get together more. After all, in World of Warships, there is no telling when a large-scale naval battle will occur. At that time, the high-quality metal pieces will be sufficient to replenish ammunition. Had dinner. Qin Tian went up to the deck for a stroll around to eat and drink. He took the epic blueprint of the air conditioner and began to find a suitable location around the ship building for placement. Go around in a circle. Qin Tian quickly found a place that was out of the way and could still see the sun from time to time. The production of an advanced epic level central air conditioning system requires 4,000 high-quality metal sheets, 4,000 high-quality nails, and 6,000 high-quality plastics. Will the captain make it? Make. Qin Tian nodded immediately. With the blueprint in hand disappears. Soon a large outdoor unit appeared at the place Qin Tian had chosen in advance. And next to it there is a long pole for hydroelectric power. Qin Tian directly installed the hydroelectric pole on the outside of the ship. After finishing all this, only then did he come to the outdoor unit with its own solar panels. Use detective technique to open the attribute panel of the outdoor unit of the central air conditioner in front of you. Item: Genesis Level Central Air Conditioning Outdoor Unit. Quality: colorful. Type: heating and cooling type. Applicable area: 550-1350 square meters. Efficacy: it can be cooled and heated, has the functions of removing formaldehyde, purifying air, and sending points in 3D circulation. Introduction: I know how warm and cold I am the master of my world. This is a super central air conditioning outdoor unit with solar and hydroelectric power generation functions. With it, your warship will achieve a comfortable environment that is warm in winter and cool in summer, and 4 seasons like spring. Note: for every unit of ordinary plastic consumed, 1 square meter of central air conditioning refrigerant pipe can be installed, and for every 500 units of ordinary plastic consumed, 1 indoor unit can be manufactured. See here. Qin Tian glanced at the setting sun that was about to set. Immediately start to act. Consumed plastics are immediately piped. There are world rules. The tubes are all automatic and go below deck. Aesthetics don't get in the way. He first went upstairs to the ship. Go straight to the control room. Yao Lang and Wei Chen saw him walk the air conditioning refrigerant pipe piece by piece into the room. The two looked at each other. They all saw unbelievable surprises in each other's eyes. Captain, Chen wants to install a central air conditioner. Yao Lang couldn't help asking. Well, good luck, got a central air conditioner. Qin Tian nodded and said with a smile, with this, our battleship will be much more comfortable in the future. As he said that, he consumed 500 units of ordinary plastic to build an indoor unit in the control room. Success as he consumed supplies. I saw a beautifully shaped ceiling automatically appearing on the top of the control room. In the middle of the ceiling, there is a new rectangular indoor unit with a slim design. At this time, there was an extra remote control in Qin Tian's hand. It is the remote control that controls this indoor unit. Okay, put the remote control away, wait for me to finish running the pipes below, and then see how the air conditioner works. Qin Tian put the remote control on the center console. Immediately walked out. Start the pipe again from that outdoor unit. Slowly install to each cabin under the deck. Been busy until midnight. Only then did he complete the pipes and install the indoor units for all the initially used cabins except the large-scale planting ecological cabin. After finishing, he came to the control room of the shipbuilding and asked the two to turn on the remote control to try the effect. Following Yao Lang pressing the switch, the upper and lower shutters of the machine are opened. The air duct immediately began to blow air out. Yao Lang adjusted the temperature to a suitable 23 degrees. The temperature gauge in the control room quickly showed that the temperature in the room was a constant 23 degrees. This made Qin Tian nodded in satisfaction. After leaving a sentence for the two of them to rest when they should rest, Qin Tian himself let out a ha-ha and walked out of the control room. Back below deck, I came to the large-scale planting ecological cabin and took a look. At this moment, the self-contained artificial sun inside has ended today's light. Converging light landed in the corner. Yu Dai turned on the lights and observed the growth of the rice inside. Old Yu, haven't you slept yet? Qin Tian walked in and asked with a smile. See Qin Tian come over. Yu Dai waved his hand, and said with excitement on his face, I'm here to see the growth of the rice, and I'll go back to sleep after watching it. Captain, come and take a look, it's only been a few days, the rice has grown so tall, I feel we may only need more than a month to harvest these rice. Qin Tian laughed and said, almost, the land in this large planting cabin has the function of reducing the maturity time of crops by 40%, and the artificial sun also has the effect of reducing the maturity period by 20%. According to the standard, it can be harvested in about a month. Yu Hai was overjoyed when he heard that. I didn't expect that the estimated time from eating white rice would be shortened by almost 2 months. Okay, it's almost time to go back to bed and go to sleep. Tomorrow is time to be busy with tomorrow's things. After greeting Yu Dai, Qin Tian returned to his room. After checking the 3 pots of lush fruit trees and cucumber vines, he took a shower, turn on the air conditioner and adjust the temperature to 23 degrees. Lie directly on the bed and went to sleep. Dee. The next day, the eastern sky has just revealed a little paleness. Qin Tian was awakened by a private chat prompt in his mind. He opened his eyes and sat up. After stretching my waist and clearing my mind, only then did Yi Limos open the private chat interface with a thought. That means he didn't wake up angry. And he is not the kind of sleepy person. This is for those who sleep lightly and are afraid of being disturbed. Come here a few times. I'm afraid he just burst into cursing. Focus on the private chat interface. It turned out that the person who sent him the message was actually Vanessa. This girl hasn't contacted him much for a while. Why did I contact him out of nowhere today? Open the information and have a look. Qin Tian's eyes suddenly widened. Come on, this is. I saw a video recorded by Vanessa in the private chat window. Kiki alter. Of course, not the kind of video that is not suitable for children. But at this point at the dawn of dawn, on the endless sea, there was an extremely huge mosasaurus sticking out half of its body and swimming across the sea. And not far from where the mosasaurs haunted, a shining red treasure chest is floating up and down on the sea surface. 31%. Chapter 159 is Vanessa a traitor? Chin God, come quickly, I found something good. Coordinate sharing. Chin Tian stared at the message under the video, which was sent by the other party. Without further ado, he opened the coordinate sharing. As for whether there will be fraud in it, Chin Tian is not very worried. After passing by, he can go around that area first. With his radar detection range of hundreds of kilometers. Great circle. If you really want to cheat, you will definitely find the clues. 2815.171 nautical miles. Chin Tian looked at the guide arrow that appeared in front of him, and the remaining nautical miles beside the arrow. I was relieved. About 3 days. Not too long. He replied to the other party. Yes, you are so lucky, it takes about 4 days from my place to yours. In these 4 days, you first salvage the wooden barrels nearby. Sigh, what's the use of being lucky? I can't beat that boss, it looks like a super powerful big guy. Okay, then I'll be wandering around here for the past few days. God Chin, come here quickly, I'm worried that I will be robbed by other God's chosen ones if they see it. Vanessa quickly texted back and said, well, don't worry, I'm leaving now. Send message. Chin Tian got up. Putting on 637's good clothes, he went out and came to the control room of the shipbuilding. I saw that the person in charge of staying on duty for the rest of the night happened to be Wei Chen. Captain, why are you up so early? Seeing Chin Tian, Wei Chen subconsciously asked in surprise. Haha, a friend found a good thing in a piece of sea, and sent me the coordinates to let me go to share a piece of it. After speaking, Chin Tian told the other party the coordinates. Wei Chen clicked on the machine. He quickly said, it's about 3 days away from us. Si Chin Tian nodded. After struggling for a while, Wei Chen summoned up his courage and said, however, Captain, is that friend of yours trustworthy? In this world of warships, it is very dangerous to trust one person too much. Hear Wei Chen's warning. Chin Tian smiled and said, Chen, it's good that you can think of this, it proves that you have already regarded our warship as your home. I reported to that woman for 4 days. After we go there, we can first check around the area and gather after confirming that there is no problem. As an NPC, Wei Chen could muster up the courage to propose this to him. This is the embodiment of 100% loyalty. So Chin Tian naturally wanted to praise and encourage him, instead of rebuking and cursing in a stupid way. So that's how it is, the captain is wise. Received a compliment from Chin Tian. Wei Chen was naturally very happy in his heart. He didn't expect his captain to be so wise at such a young age. For a while, his loyalty to Chin Tian broke through the sky. Ding, crew member Wei Chen's loyalty to you has risen from diehard to fanatical. Chin Tian, looking at the pair of shining eyes of the crew member in front of him, who almost wanted to eat him. Chin Tian suddenly shivered with aversion to cold. Then he pretended to be calm and said, Chen, the next destination is the coordinate direction, I want you to rush there, and check around when you are still 130 kilometers away from the destination, is there any problem? Quote. No, Wei Chen immediately raised his chest and raised his head, and replied confidently. Very well, then you can be busy. After Chin Tian nodded, he walked out of the control room very calmly. Only Wei Chen watched his back leave with admiration. Call, I go. Loyalty in this frantic state is too scary. Go down the stairs of the shipbuilding. Chin Tian couldn't help but wipe the unnecessary cold sweat from his forehead. To be able to treat a somewhat introverted person like Wei Chen as if he had changed his soul. At this moment, Chin Tian's thinking diverged. Can't help but secretly imagine. If this trend continues, there will be more and more crew members on the battleship. Then wait until the Zerars arrive. Maybe the will of the planet will open the blueprints for the construction of interstellar warships or something. It's time to build your own starship and let a group of fanatical crew out of the world of warships to fight and conquer various alien races. Hiss. How does this have a sense of sight of the Warhammer Emperor? BBFI, at that time, please don't give me the 4 evil gods of the entire subspace. He shook his head vigorously. Bring back your wandering thoughts. Chin Tian then walked slowly around the deck. After walking, he returned to his rest cabin and began to wash. Finished washing, he made bottles and received another 500 bottles of water. General Zhang, Please replace the metal pieces of 500 bottles of water for me. After receiving the water, he sent a message to Jang Zongjun. Hee, you got up very early today, boy. Okay, no problem, just wait for a while. There will be a reply soon. It didn't take long for the other party to send a transaction application. Qin Tian's 500 bottles of water were exchanged for 25,000 units of low-quality metal pieces from the other party. Oh, by the way, Xiao Qin, I just got the news last night that the Duke family of the Lighthouse Devils and the Lot family seem to have a tendency to cooperate, and even the Moore family seems to be involved. You should pay attention recently, and don't be fooled up. See Jang Zongjun's information. Qin Tian narrowed his eyes slightly. It seems that after I snatched the first place in the world boss from that Reese Duke. Let that guy feel a little bit of a crisis. Otherwise, how could these two families get mixed up? I remember the beginning of next year in my previous life. There was even bloodshed between the two families over the ownership of the treasure chest. But now I am interfered by myself. I don't know if there will be any bloodshed between the two next year. But Lot and the Duke family teamed up to deal with him, so he could understand. What the hell is this Moore family? General Zhang, let me ask you, do you know why your family wants to deal with me? Qin Tian sent a message to Jang Zongjun asking. Although he is not afraid of things. But I don't want to have friction with these big forces for no reason. I heard that the foreign devil you killed in the Novice Sea was the younger brother of a small leader of the Moore family. The meaning of the upper echelons of the Moore family is still unclear. It seems that the current actions are only the actions of the little leader. See Jang Zongjun's information. A flash of inspiration flashed in Qin Tian's mind. He suddenly remembered. Before I killed the two gangs who were fighting, but later turned their attention to myself after the foreign devils. Vanessa had told him. One of them was the younger brother of a small leader of the Moore family. It seems that this information was revealed to the other party by the other party's gods. That's why you plan to join forces with this big family. Qin Tian said it didn't matter. One sheep is to be chased, and 2 or 3 are also to be chased. As long as you don't expose your coordinates. How could the other party find him so easily? But Qin Tian suddenly thought again. When Vanessa told herself this, she said she knew the leader's brother. But now, the heads of the Lauder family, the Duke family, and the Moore family just started working together yesterday. Today, Vanessa sent herself a message to attract herself with a mythical treasure chest. Is there any connection here? 32%. Chapter 160 increased the amount of material barrels. Think here. Qin Tian's eyes narrowed again. Vanessa's delicate and beautiful facial features because of her mixed race flashed in her mind. There is a faint coldness growing in his heart. I hope I am wrong. If it is true that the other party betrayed himself. Well, one day sooner or later, I will let the other party know what a traitor is, and. While thinking, Qin Tian walked towards those ammunition bays. He wants to prepare for the next possible war. If there are many people on the other side. He retreated decisively. Staying alive is better than anything else. Even if it is a mythical treasure chest. With his talent, sooner or later he will be able to search the bureau. Come to the ammunition bay of the Genesis class 57mm naval gun. Qin Tian was making armor-piercing projectiles. While sending a message to Jang Zongjun. Okay, General Zhang, I understand, I will be careful. Close the private chat interface. After Qin Tian filled the orange-quality universal autoloader with advanced armor-piercing bullets. Only then did he remember that the orange-quality universal autoloader he unpacked from the golden treasure chest yesterday hadn't been installed yet. Yesterday, I paid attention to the matter of the AK 130mm naval gun and air conditioner. As a result, it was forgotten. Think here. Qin Tian immediately got to the bow of the deck. Move the orange-quality universal autoloader down to the ammunition bay of the dual AK 130mm naval guns. Now he doesn't know whether Vanessa's woman betrayed him or not. If not betrayed, killed the Mosasaur boss. He already has enough top-quality sea beast teeth to manufacture mythical quality Y-15 anti-ship missiles. At that time, I will replace this universal automatic loader with the Y-15 anti-ship missile. His fighting power will immediately usher in a wave of soaring. Compared with small-caliber naval guns, high-quality missiles are definitely a proper killer. No matter how high-quality the small-caliber naval gun is. Attacking is like grinding tofu. You can only grind down the enemy's blood bit by the number of times, and there is also a problem of accuracy. But missiles are different. A high-quality missile will cost 1 or 2,000 blood. and missiles because of their guidance capabilities. Often it's all right. A round of more than a dozen high-quality missiles can easily cause more than 20,000 damage. Only in World of Warships, high-quality missile weapons and blueprints are really rare. This is why there are very few guided missile destroyers and guided missile cruisers in World of Warships. After all, the ammunition bays of all warship weapons have been replenished. Yu Dai came to call Qin Tian for dinner, sitting in a restaurant with a comfortable temperature blown by the air-conditioned wind. While drinking shark soup, Qin Tian looked at Yu Heidao and said, "Old Yu, how did you sleep in the air-conditioned room yesterday? Don't turn the temperature too low." Hearing this, Yu Dai said with a smile, "I am so old that I dare not lower the temperature. I sleep at 25 degrees. It's just right for you to be neither hot nor cold. Captain, you are really kind to us. I feel like I can't bear the pain soon." Qin Tian smiled and said, "Only if the daily life and diet are kept up, and the crew members are always in peak physical condition, then they can focus on their best performance during the battle. Otherwise, the crew here would not be able to sleep well because of the cold and heat. If you still have dark circles around your eyes, or you are weak because you haven't eaten enough, how can you win the battle?" Wei Chen, who was eating next to him, heard this. He straightened up immediately and said in agreement, "The captain is right. Since we have enjoyed this rare and precious treatment, we must do our best to protect it, and we must not lose such a beautiful thing because of our own laziness." Life. Hear Wei Chen's words. Yu Dai was stunned. "Sure, Wei boy, are you enlightened?" Wei Chen scratched his head in embarrassment when he heard the words, looked at Qin Tian with admiration, and said, "No, Uncle Yu, don't laugh at me. I just think the captain has paid too much for us. For this hard one we should try our best to protect the comfortable environment." Yu Dai gave him a thumbs up when he heard the words, and praised, "Wei Xiaozi is right. You are still young. Young guys should be positive and optimistic, dare to fight and fight hard." We finished our lunch. Qin Tian also doesn't have the habit of taking a lunch break. Carrying the rope hook, I came to the deck and opened the plain map of detective technique to prepare to hook the material barrel. As a result, when he saw the icon on the flat map, his pupils shrank violently in an instant. I saw that even if you travel more than 10 nautical miles, you may not be able to see a wooden barrel of supplies. Right now, there are 3 or 4 on the flat map. And as the battleship continues to move forward, the shadow of the material barrel can also be seen from the edge. This made Qin Tian instantly confused. But ignorance is ignorance. He didn't hesitate at all in his move, while shouting directions to Wei Chen. While swinging the rope hook, one after another material barrels were hooked up. "Why are there so many material barrels today? Ask for flowers. 0. Could it be that today is your lucky day? Or is it that his battleship has come to the explosive point of supplies?" Think about it. With a thought, Qin Tian opened the World Chat channel. He wanted to see if this happened to him alone, or if it was the same for all the chosen ones in World of Warships. Then he just opened it. He got the answer he wanted. "Oh, my dear, what happened today? I actually saw 2 floating wooden barrels on the sea level around me. Are there only 2 material barrels in your place? I have 3 here. Zyba, is this also the result of the intervention of the will of the planet? Then such a result seems to be good, right? Yuxi, it seems possible that the person upstairs asked you to say this. If so, it seems that it is not a bad thing to let the planet have more willpower and preempt it a few times." Qin Tian directly closed the chat interface. It seems that this is not his luck. Instead, the number of material barrels in the entire world of warships has increased significantly. But after seeing the chat content of those foreign devils, Qin Tian couldn't help being amused by the ignorance of these people. Even in the previous life, it followed the normal track. These chosen ones were tortured by the extreme weather, pirates, and sea beasts that appeared from time to time. Not to mention the future that is now specifically warned by the will of the planet alone. It is estimated that 9 out of 10 will make it more difficult for the chosen one. Okay, no, wait a minute. Intervention of the will of the planet. Affect the next normal evolutionary trajectory of the god chosen. Increases the delivery of supplies throughout World of Warships. Then there will be some extreme weather and various challenges every now and then. Why does this feel a bit like accelerating the pace of the evolution of the whole people? Get vaccinated in advance. Let everyone know that the next survival will be more difficult and more difficult. Then began to increase the amount of materials put in. Let more gods chosen have resources and food in their hands. Accelerates the evolutionary growth of the chosen one. Let go of various extreme weather disasters and dungeon challenges after you feel that you are about the same. Survival of the fittest. In the fierce competition, a group of gods chosen with the strongest strength and high adaptability are selected. Then let them monopolize most of the supplies needed by those weak god chosen. Immediately afterwards, let those weak gods chosen desperately salvage supplies in exchange for the necessities of life. Supplies in exchange for the necessities of life. Supplies in exchange